This episode of Nintendo Pow Block is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support Nintendo Pow Block and the Boss Rush Network, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network and see which tier is right for you. Thanks for your continued support. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, Lots Excited ADV. Joining me is the one, the only boss man himself, Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello. It's a very exciting Saturday night at 10:36. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a interesting few days, but it's okay. I'm just, also it's Saturday and we usually record on Sunday, so it's later than normal and all the things. So
yes. Well,
hello.
Happy Pride, everyone. We are celebrating Pride Month this June, as usual. I finally got some new plates for my car. Got a season pass for my Six Flags Great America with free parking, so I'm excited for that. And I won't be traveling as much for the next 2 weeks since I'll be at work. Traveling as in I don't have to go to anybody else's store for a good 2 weeks. Besides Sundays. And then once the month of June is over, I don't know what they're gonna do. I should be back to normal. Hopefully I will figure out what my Sunday is gonna be with that and everything. But we also got the Summer Direct happening. The State of Play happened last week, and it was an interesting one, to say for sure. With that, there's a game called Infinity Nikki, which is like a 3D platformer, action fashion game sim. But the music that they played on there was very Mario Odyssey. Or you hear it, which was a good trailer. Don't get me wrong, was some good music. It was really good to hear something like that, and it was very different for Sony. And by the time you guys see this, the final shape has dropped for Destiny. So for all you Destiny 2 players out there, hopefully you guys are hearing this podcast and having fun playing that game. What about you, Corey? Are you excited for the final shape?
Yeah, it's I'm trying to avoid. It's really hard to avoid Destiny stuff because I don't know if you heard, but Sony put it out on their premium service early on accident. And so people played the first few campaign missions and there's spoilers everywhere. So
Oh no, I did not hear that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to really avoid a lot of Destiny stuff, but the community's been pretty good at like shutting people up. So but yeah, Sony released the final shape early on PlayStation Plus Premium. If you had Destiny installed, you could stream the final shape stuff last week at some point for a few hours, so I mean that's it's quite a bit. So hopefully I don't get spoiled by Tuesday when it comes out, but yeah, it's out there, so beware, Guardians. Beware of spoilers. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to take next week off of recordings so I can review it and play it and see what's happening. I mean, this is the end, right, for a lot of people, and this is the end
Mhm.
of this is the end, really. It's the end of the beginning, I guess you would say, for Destiny. Like the Light and Darkness saga is coming to an end, and this is the first time we actually hear Keith David taking over the role of Zavala from Lance Reddick, and Cade is back, and there was a really awesome cutscene of Cade and Crow in a shootout, which was awesome. Uh, so yeah,
It's gonna be.
I don't know.
It's
I'm
gonna be.
excited. There was a cool cutscene. So
Yeah, it's
what?
it's gonna be very exciting week. To say the least, because you got Destiny leading into the Microsoft conference, um, and like even though it's gonna be like the first week of June, um, I think people are just excited for the things that are coming. A lot of hype with a lot of anticipation. I'm excited to finally jump back into Destiny, playing the missions and you know, just seeing the beautiful landscapes in that game. I'm definitely excited. And also, congratulations to Tower Casual. They celebrated their 200th episode. If you guys have not checked that out, please do. Uh, uh, 200
Yeah,
episodes. Wow. Uh,
yeah. Yeah. It's been going on for a while, and we did that live show, and it was about 3 hours long, and yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of reminiscing, and good thing Destiny or Bungie didn't put out a giant twid that week, so we had some stuff to talk about, but most of it was just about you know people and community, and we had people who run our Discord on, and it was fun. It was really fun. Um, but yeah, next week is it's so weird that it almost landed on the week of the final shape. That it landed like the week before, right? That's just uh yeah, it was fun. If you are a Destiny fan, you can go listen to it. But if not, oh well, it's fine. It's for Destiny people. So
yes.
we're approaching
Man.
400 in 6 weeks. We'll probably have a Nintendo Direct to talk about.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Uh,
I ins- everybody's been predicting on when it's going to drop. Some people thinking it's like the third week of June. Um, but who knows what Nintendo? I think it's gonna be like close to the end of the month, like the fourth Wednesday. Um,
it's going to be after everybody else. You think of everybody
yeah.
else that's going in June. Xbox, Ubisoft, I think is going on Sunday as well. Keeley's Summer Games Fest, and all the other stuff. Sony already went, right, and all these smaller developers are already going. Nintendo's going after everybody else, guys. This is going to be like the third or like I would expect like the week before Father's Day or after, like the 20, like the
hmm
18th, 19th, 20th, somewhere in there. What's that Wednesday? I guess it would be.
Uh,
Um, well,
so
I
it's the
guess
fifth is this
I guess it would
this
be the
coming Wednesday.
19th. It'd be well, I doubt Nintendo would put out a presentation on Juneteenth in America because it's becoming a pretty big deal in the United States.
Yeah,
So, which is the 19th, and so it would probably be on either the 20th or the week after that, which would be what, the
like the
26th. That's how math works,
26th.
right? 26th.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd wait that long though. So I'm going to say the
Had
20th. I'm going to say it's coming on the
had
20th,
had the directs been
which
on?
is that
Had the directs switched from
they've
Wednesdays
been
to
on one.
Thursdays? Do they?
They used to be on Thursdays, and the last, like, 4 or 5 of them have been on Wednesdays.
Yeah, okay.
because I
Yeah,
end up
I didn't
staying
know if
later
they.
at work to watch them sometimes, and then
Oh yeah,
sometimes I get home late, and then I'm almost late for the Boss Rush podcast. But yeah, I don't know.
gotta watch that. Oh, I sneak
I
off.
don't know.
Nah, if I'm at work, I should sneak off to the break room and watch it. To be like, look, I gotta watch this. So,
Yeah,
um,
I'm excited though. I'm ready to I'm ready to see what's coming because I totally. By the way, timeout. Hold on, Ed. Did you see
yes.
the rumors flying around?
No, which
The
rumors?
Microsoft rumors that they said if you're a fan of 360 JRPGs, pay attention this year. And there are rumors swirling around from credible people that Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon are getting remasters and they will be multi-platform for the first time.
Where did you see this? I
That
know.
is the
No one told me.
I heard it on Friday during a podcast and they're from pretty credible sources like hold on, let me look at I got to look it up. Now, granted everybody take it with a grain of salt because you know how it goes, but that was a rumor floating around this week. Well, last
you
week, I
know
guess,
we
by the time you
you
hear
know
this.
we need it. Like Microsoft, we
Okay.
are. I'm
We
like I
lost.
told, like I said.
Yeah, let
like
me look it up because
I
they were
I
talking about
am ready
how
to give
why.
them this coins.
Yeah, let's see. Where was this? There was a because I think Microsoft is going to explore doing a sequel without Mistwalker. Um,
For Lost
hold on,
Odyssey.
where was this rumor? Yeah, I can't I can't find the can't find the post,
So,
but
but I wonder will they show it at the Microsoft conference and then maybe Nintendo will show it, or like probably after Microsoft shows it, they'll do like a tweet and something. Because like sometimes they when they do those announcements for games, they'll tweet out to be like, "Yes, it's coming to other consoles." Because right now, like I said, if people do not buy those games on Xbox, they will buy that on Switch. Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, come on now,
I mean,
that's
yeah, because
straight coins
the
from them.
where is this? Where did this come from? I'm trying to find it. I heard two separate podcasts talk about it this week, and they
Mm.
are two very um okay. Uh, so this is what to expect from the Xbox Showcase 2024 roadmap to the future. Big questions answered, but will you like the answers? Uh, let's see. Where is it? Hold on. I
Because
just saw
definitely,
it.
it definitely Fable would have to be there. Uh, and Composure's game would have to be there. State of Decay 3 would have to be there. Uh,
Um,
Indiana Jones, Avowed. Like the games from the developer direct would have to be there. Maybe Trials of Mana would be there. No, Visions of Mana probably would be there. I'm
hold on. Let's
intrigued now. Oh, Call of Duty 6 is supposed to be there. Black Ops 6 is supposed to be there.
here. Okay. Windows Central. It's from Windows Central from May. This article's been floating around since May 22nd. So, uh, where
Hmm,
is it?
interesting.
Uh, yeah, this article. Let me find it. Let's continue the show, and once we get through one of the segments after I find it, we'll circle back to this um because they were talking about Akira Toriyama and why would they wait till after he's gone to put out one, something that he is so influential in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, because that both shows brought that up. Um, Oh, it was on 3 separate podcasts actually, because it was on Xbox Two, which is Jez Corden's Xbox podcast, with
Okay.
Randall Thor. So that's 3 podcasts I heard it on this week. Uh, where is it? Oh my gosh! What's the next segment? While I sit here and angrily read this article.
Okay. Well, everybody, we're gonna get into some housekeeping at this time. So while Corey searches for that information, let's get into the housekeeping. If you want to support Nintendo Power Block and the Boss Rush Network, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, where you can get our supplemental show, Expansion Pass, 2 weeks early, and ad-free, and other perks like early access to other podcasts, voting rights, and more at the tier that's right for you. Again, that's patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. So if you guys are up to supporting us, we definitely would love for you guys to check us out. So that is super
Buy your Pride
exciting,
shirt.
man. Yes, yes. You guys can go to bossrush.net and go to our store and check out some shirts, some merch. I am buying my Pride shirt this week, and I am super excited. So, um, Corey, do we have any upcoming or current content that we should be checking out?
Yeah. Why don't you read it while I'm trying to find this part in this article,
Okay,
because I can't read 2 things at the same time.
okay.
No,
Well,
I'll just do it real quick because I'm involved in it. So, scroll to the top here. What is this? What just happened? What is this article? What are you doing there, Ed? What are
nothing.
you?
Somehow my hand
y-
uh hit something and it did that. And I'm like, what the heck?
Anyways, if you are listening to this on Tuesday, on Monday, Stephanie and I put out a spotlight with Astral Clock Tower Studios. We had Sarah and Alexis on from there, and it was a really great conversation. They are making a game called Crystalla, which will make it to Switch eventually, but the big key thing with them is that their game is coming out on early Steam early access this week, so you can check it out there. It is very playable on Steam Deck. They ensured that it was, so if you are a portable Steam player, it is on Steam Deck. It will be coming to Switch, and yeah, it's basically what it is a they're calling it a cat action game, and Alexis is really into Souls-like games, especially Bloodborne, and it is like a fast paced, really cool, really customizable Souls like game with cats. I mean, they're just anthropomorphized cats, but it looks really awesome. Uh, and I'm not just saying that because we interviewed him. I think it looks really awesome. They're playing around with difficulty type things. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we get into it on the podcast because Souls like turns a lot of people off. As much as it brings a lot of people in, it turns that many people off too. And so they're trying to find the balance of like, well, how do we advertise it as a Souls like, because that's technically what it is, without scaring away people. And they're trying to find that balance, and they're playing with difficulty stuff that's really interesting. But you should listen to the show about that, because it's really cool. And I'm trying to help them promote the game, because I think that the studio represents something really important that we don't see in games. It is a
Mm-hmm.
all female owned, led, uh, and created studio, and the game is entirely led and produced by women. And so that's not something you see very often in this industry. So, um, we're going to do as much as we can to help them promote it. So it was a great interview. They're great people, and you should check out Crystal. The link to the Steam page and their website are in the show notes of that episode. And I'm sure if you follow us on Twitter, you will be seeing tweets go out to help support them as well throughout the next couple weeks to try to get their early access stuff up. And then when the game comes out everywhere, we'll probably help promote it then too, just because that's what we do, because we're nice people and we like people. We like good people and we like helping good people and we like good games. So, you know, so but that's coming. It
Yes.
was a really great conversation. And then Stephanie and Pat will be talking to the devs behind the game Fretless in July at some point. Date TBD, but it will be coming out in July. There's all kinds of different content coming out. I'm trying to get a lot of stuff edited and worked on, and we're kind of looking at revamping our slate of content, especially for patrons, because you know, we don't really offer them a lot of exclusive stuff. And so we're looking at ways to kind of uh, remedy that and hopefully draw some people in to Patreon. We also added a free tier. So if you don't want to subscribe to all of our podcasts separately, you can go there and they will all release once they come out of early access for patrons. They will all release on one feed, which will help, kind of curate your list if you want. So that's also good. I know they also switched the way that they Patreon. So Patreon's really strange because for a long time I've been using this service called Acast that links to
Mm-hmm.
Patreon,
Yeah.
and uh, it helps kind of curate your like your tier list. So like if somebody is subscribed to the one like the bronze tier, you click that button
Mm-hmm.
and that episode will go out to all the bronze tier people. You click the silver tier, goes out the silver tier, like that kind of thing, right? And so you can kind of curate your
Yes.
content based on who subscribes, how it's subscribed, all that kind of thing. And well, the bad thing about that is that it does not sync with Spotify, right? So you can put that RSS feed in Apple Podcasts. You can put it in, whatever podcast catcher takes RSS feeds. Spotify does not. So they have revamped their entire thing. And if you're already using Acast, you can continue to use Acast, but they now have their own internal feed, which would I'm playing around with switching it around, so I will let you guys know, you patrons out there. I will let you know if things change. I will put an announcement in Discord, and I will message all of the patrons directly to make sure that they get the message. Uh, but Patreon now has their own feed that plays the audio from the posts that you post directly on Patreon, and that does sync with
Yeah.
Spotify. And I know a lot of people use Spotify now, especially Android users don't exactly use Apple Podcasts, right? So, uh, I want to make sure we make it as easy for everybody as possible, even if it gives, it gives me a little bit more work to do. If it makes it easier for people to listen, then I will put the effort in, right? And so, uh, yeah, there will be some cool, interesting changes for Patreon. I'm really excited for some of the stuff that I have kind of concocted for Patreon. Small things, right? But interesting things. So that's also happening. Also, I have a bunch of unboxing videos that I'm going to do, and some of them I'm going to show off in a little bit because I have show and tell again tonight, Ed. I will have show and tell for the
Yes.
foreseeable future.
Oh yes. In the coming weeks, everybody.
So,
Uh
yeah,
all right.
very excited. I'm Here's what
Well,
I'm
everybody.
doing. I'm
Oh, go ahead.
curating
Go ahead. Go ahead.
my Nintendo collection, right? And so every week or so I'm going to get a new game for my collection. And I'm going to show it off. I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited for this pile that's sitting on my desk right now, actually, because it's um, some of it's relatively difficult and hard to find now, and also something I imported because I just had to have it. So I don't usually import things because I don't want non. It's I know this sounds stupid, but I don't want non like ESRB stuff. I don't want the little Japanese C thing going on, ABC thing.
Uh
I don't want the Peggy ratings on my boxes. I don't want the spines that have the weird font, right? That's only apparently the United States doesn't have, but everywhere else in the world has this other funny looking font. Ours
yeah.
is just like what, all caps Arial or something. I don't know. Uh, yeah, I don't know, but it's I'm very excited for this stuff. So some of that's coming.
that is
Also, I have a
that is
Windows
one of
machine
my
now.
goals. Oh, what you say, Corey?
I said I have a Windows machine now, so I'm going to start maybe streaming a little bit soon. Once I kind of get everything set up and figure it out and find some time, which is also a big factor. But I'm pretty excited for some of the stuff that I am planning in my head because it sounds good in my
Mhm.
head. So
Yeah, one of my goals is to actually do to import something. Like I would love to import a game and like put it into my Switch. And but I'm just like I'm assuming most people who import stuff now go do Play Asia. I'm assuming. Um,
did you see the big leak on Play Asia today? That apparently
no,
we're
I
the
did
only ones
not.
talking about.
What happened?
Apparently, Play Asia leaked. Apparently, Play Asia leaked Resident Evil 9 today,
Oh yeah, I seen something about that.
and they released or they leaked native ports of 4 or like 5, 6, and Code Veronica X also, which I think we're supposed to be part of the Capcom showcase later this summer.
Oh wow! If that is true, I looked at that cover. I'm like, looks ugly. This looks like a fake.
It looks fake. It looks fake,
It
but
it,
there's
it
a full game description. There's like it's a real listing.
mhm.
So I mean I don't know how real it is. I don't know if they messed up, if they're just like hedging their bets that it's going to get announced or what. But it was. I mean, Stephanie and I had a full on conversation about it earlier today. So um, I don't know. I messaged her about it because I know she has gotten really into Resident Evil lately.
Mhm.
Uh, and so yeah, especially because that big kind of what was it, that leaker said that Resident Evil 9 was so far away and that they were going to release the remakes of Zero and what, Code Veronica X, I think, at some point
Yeah.
first. So
Yeah. Zero, and then they were going to. They think there's going to be a remake of one of the regular Resident Evil, so that it looks like
mhm,
like Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil
mhm,
2 and Resident Evil 3. I think they're trying to remake some of these games. But I'm just like, man,
which is
I'm like,
smart.
but I wonder, I'm like, does Resident Evil need to another remake?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
but
The answer is
I
yes.
I but I wonder what they, because I would, if they was going to do that, I'm like, just remake the director's cut version of it. You
They're
know,
just it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't
it's Capcom
matter.
though.
Just remake it. Who cares? Who cares? Everything's going
So
to get remade at some point. So who cares?
which is just, it's super funny, just super funny. Well, everybody want people. Well, I want a remake of Legend of Zelda 2, so that that
Yeah.
says enough. Well, everybody, it's time for Snacktendo. And Corey, I have some snacks to kind of talk about. from what I've been snacking on. Had a club sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Uh, had some of the Pokemon cookies that I showcased last week. I had the vanilla flavor of Pikachu's, really really good. They kind of taste like vanilla pudding, and I was like, "Ooh, this this is yummy," and I let them melt in my mouth. Oh, they were just amazing. Um, Taco Bell, I actually had a Mexican pizza from Taco Bell, which was really delicious. I I think I think, and this is funny, everybody. So please forgive me. When I haven't had a certain meal from Taco Bell, when I taste it, when like I finally get it, it feels like it's like mesmerizing. It feels like it's the best thing in the world that I had. Uh, even though it is Taco Bell. Um,
It's Taco
I
Bell.
I had Pizza Hut, and I actually got to have they honey barbecue boneless wings. Pizza Hut is off the chain with them wings. Them wings were no joke. I'm sorry, Domino's. You guys got some great chicken bites. I do enjoy them. Man, Pizza Hut got them beat. I literally was just like, I should have ordered like an 8 pack of these because these must were so good. I mean, the pizza was great too. Um, but I'm not ashamed to say their honey barbecue boneless ones taste just like they were the KFC boneless chicken honey barbecue. That was just, man. There was a time where nobody was eating KFC's boneless chicken. For some unknown reason, I would drive 30 minutes from my house to go to another city called Zion because they had them there. And the moment I started buying them, the mugs started becoming popular around everywhere. And I was just like, oh, this is so good with that. So this is what these uh Pizza Hut boneless wings we remind me of, and they were fat and big and nice and sweet, and it's just like, oh, this is everything, so much and so much more. But yeah, that's what I've been snacking on. Um,
Mm.
there hasn't been any summer snacks just yet. I'm waiting for them to drop, and then I'll be talking about the summer snacks with the chips. Hopefully I find some new hot dogs to try out because like the ballpark nacho cheese hot dog, still fire, still top tier at this time. So
Sounds
I
so
would have,
gross.
dude, they're so good though. They really are good. Um, do you don't you don't
I'm just gonna believe you. Sounds gross.
you don't like the cheese hot dogs? Like the cheese that's in the hot
I've
dogs?
never had cheese on a hot dog ever.
Really?
It sounds gross. Gross. No.
You'd be surprised. It's normally
Okay,
the cheese
so
that's inside of
I
it.
guess that's partially not true because I have had like chili dogs before with cheese on them, but that's not
Hmm.
really a hot dog. That's not a real hot dog. I'm talking about just like a hot dog.
Yeah, these just have like little cheese bits that's in them. But like they're like natural flavors, but it's like it's melted inside the hot dog, so you don't
Mm,
see it on the outside. It's just inside when you bite on it and stuff. I'm
mm.
surprised you never had one of those. I know they you had to go to certain stores to buy them because it wasn't a normal thing that they were selling.
I
Um,
wonder why.
even to um, well, I think it's because it was like at
Because it's
times,
not normal.
but it was kind of a limited edition one in a sense, like because there's some hot dogs that have like jalapenos in it now and stuff.
Well, I know
Uh,
that, but
yeah. So how did
I
you
don't
know
know,
about
man.
that, but not cheese? I'm just shocked that
Just
you never had one.
oh, nope. I'm not a big cheese person though. I'm not. I'm not a big cheese person unless I'm like going specifically for like cheese. Like I don't eat cheese on my hamburgers either. Like
Hmm.
I don't. Uh, I like cheeses for certain things. And also, like, unless it's like a quesadilla or something, cheese can't be melted. Like, I'm really weird like that. Like, it's not that I don't like it. It's just
Hmm.
like if I have the choice, I'm not getting cheese on something unless it's like a taco or a burrito or something. You know, like
Yeah,
uh, I mean, like when we were at PAX and we ordered those burgers, right? Like, okay, fine, cheese, whatever. I'm
yeah.
not like freaking out because there's cheese on it, right? But like, I would prefer something like a burger without cheese and just lather it with like mustard and mayonnaise and maybe some onions and bacon, and that would be like the most I would ever do to a burger.
Like the toppings and stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
but like a slap of American cheese, it's just like nah, I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, again, if it's there and it's just happen like if it's just comes with it and it's on there, okay, whatever, fine. But if I have a choice, I will always get a burger without cheese.
That's interesting. That's something I did not know about. I
Yeah.
think it's because like the burritos that you talk about, and because you like how it's
Yeah,
stuffed
but
and it
again,
has like extra cheese and stuff.
yeah, again though, that cheese isn't melted. I mean, it's like kind of melted because the burrito is warm, but it's not like intentionally melted, right? So,
Right. It's more of
I
a
would say that,
topping, like the shredded cheese. It's more like a
hmm
topping.
hmm
Uh,
yeah, I would say like if I'm getting a soft pretzel, it's going in some cheese. Okay, like that's
mhm.
okay.
It's a dipping
Uh,
sauce. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, or if I'm getting like nachos from Taco Bell, it's getting cheese, right?
Yes.
Um, but even when I go to like Chipotle and get chips, I'm getting the corn salsa. I'm not getting the queso, So
All right.
uh, uh,
For the
I used
cases.
to love it. I used to love it like when I was younger, like way younger, and then like
Hmm.
at some point I just like I don't know. There's something that feels like, and I know I'm not the healthiest person ever, but for some reason, I just imagine the thick, gooey plastic cheese running through my veins and
Oh,
arteries, and that's
oh no.
how and that's how they get clogged up, and it just
Clogged
kind of
up.
freaked me out. So like
Yeah.
you know, so yeah. But then I will like I'll put so much dressing on my salad that it's like I'll have some lettuce with my dressing, please. So I don't know. I'm weird. I'm
Well,
just gonna chalk it
that's
up to that.
well, well, when it comes like to because you mentioned like dressing and stuff, like I would do blue cheese for like my salads.
Oh
If it's
no,
available, if it's available,
ew.
I I would do ranch or blue cheese is not available. That is my second choice. I think it's because I just ate so much ranch as a kid that I was just like, yeah, I'm fine with it. And then once I was doing a lot of like going to Red Lobster and getting their salads, like their blue cheese just had an acquired type, had a certain kind of taste that I just like my tongue got addicted to, that just love and everything. So like, but that's dressing and like and also French dressing. Um, I like to. Um, but like
I
cheese
don't
for
eat
me.
I don't eat
Okay.
I don't eat any dressing except for ranch dressing, or like if a place doesn't have ranch dressing, which there are
Mhm.
places around here that don't have ranch dressing, I will get Italian, and that's it. I will not touch any other dressing.
Italian is good. I normally do Italian definitely on my subs and everything. Like I definitely get Italian um on my lettuce and everything. Even when I go to the grocery store and buy like subs and stuff, I buy a small pack of Italian to do it. I'm fine with ranch as a dipping sauce. So like if I get like wings or something and it comes with ranch, I normally sometimes would dip those wings in the ranch and eat it like that. Definitely with buffalo wings. Like I have to reduce the heat as much as I can. Um, what's up?
Reduce the heat, he says.
Yeah, Corey, Corey, you know I can I only get to intake so much when it comes to hot things. You love heat, you know.
I do enjoy the I do enjoy it. So yeah. Hmm.
Mm,
Um yeah, I don't know. Is it
yes.
my turn? Is that what you're waiting on? Is it my turn?
Yeah. So, Corey, what have you been snacking on?
I had some sushi tonight for dinner. That was
Ooh,
that was good. Uh Spicy shrimp sushi was pretty good.
yes.
So that was fun. And then, pizza rolls because that's my for some reason that's just been my weekend go to. Kind of getting tired of them, but also like I need to make the most of my Saturdays now. Plus, look, I'm an expert lawnmower now, so I walk off all those calories. I need to replenish them.
Mhm. Do
Oh
you have to mow
man,
like every week or every other week?
I mow every weekend.
Mm,
I like to. It's like a Saturday morning ritual now, where like I get up and I eat breakfast. Riley
mhm.
goes to swimming lessons, and then when she comes home, I go out and mow the lawn, and then yeah, I
That's your
like it.
like
It's fun.
that. That's like your Zen
I
peaceful moment.
Yeah, because I'll just put on a podcast and mow the
Hmm.
lawn for like an hour and a half, and um, so I really love our lawnmower too. It's like one of those electric ones, but it's like really uh I don't know, it's really fun to use. Fun to use. Our yard is really strange though because it's like all it's not hilly, but it's
Hmm.
very bumpy, and so like some it's just like I don't know. It's our yard is weird. I At some point in the next decade or something, I don't know. We'll probably invest in like flattening it out or something, just because it's really bumpy and really like I don't know. I don't want the kids to like trip and fall or whatever, but uh,
Ah,
you know, I also have to. Let's see, what's tomorrow? Oh shoot, yeah, tomorrow. I don't know. Tomorrow I will have to. So the kids got a new swing set,
yeah.
and it's really nice. But I dug this little trench where the swings go, thinking, oh, this will be like, so the swings can maybe sit a little bit lower. They won't have to worry about kicking their feet. Well, it rained and it created like this huge puddle, like this huge encased trap of of water.
Harder.
And so I gotta fix that at some point, because the kids wanted to use the swings, and I'm like, yeah, I messed up.
Yeah,
So
it rained.
I will. What?
Oh, I said that it rained here um today too. Like we had a lot of
Hmm.
rain.
I can't wait for everybody to look down at their phones or whatever they're listening to the podcast on and make sure that it didn't stop, like that it didn't stop or that somebody was calling or something. You ever do that on podcasts where you're listening to something and there's like this really long pregnant pause and you think like
Uh,
either your phone is starting to ring or like the podcast stopped for some reason.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I'm leaving it in, everybody.
my
Gotcha.
Google my Google Hangouts with you all. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Uh, yeah. Is that all that you've been snacking on, Corey?
Yeah, that's about it. I don't really have anything else to, you know, talk
Okay.
about really, I guess.
Okay. Well, everybody, it's time for playing with power. So now, Corey, how should we do this one? Because last week, me, Stephanie, and you talked about Hellblade 2. Um, Me and you finished it. Uh,
Mhm.
and do you want to go first talking about should we talk about our full experience, like our like now that we wrapped up the game?
I mean,
What
I
do
don't know
we?
how much more I have to say about it, especially because I've already talked about it here and twice on the
Mm,
Boss Rush podcast at this point, and we're playing around with the idea of doing kind of like a spoiler cast discussion at some point. But I mean, we don't need to spend too much time here. I do want to say that it is maybe one of my favorite games I've ever played. Um, and I went back and I 1K'd it on Xbox. When it when it inevitably comes to PlayStation, I will buy it and play it again, and platinum it over there. Um, I I know a lot of people have a lot of issues with this game, and whether they don't like the acting or the lack of gameplay they say, or the lack of enemy variety that they say, which I think is a little bit of a BS statement.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I love this game. I love Senua as a character. I love how incredibly relatable her situation is from a mental standpoint. And
Mm-hmm.
I love everything that like the giants represent metaphorically. I love everything that the demons represent metaphorically, the cave metaphorically. Like there's a lot of metaphoric statements in here in this game that are very it's easy for me to look at that and say, "Oh, this translates to this and this is how I feel about it." And for me it was really easy to understand because Senua is so relatable for me as a character.
Yeah.
And so I actually downloaded both games on my Series S, and I'm going to replay them and record them, um, and to have raw footage of them, uh, really just to have, and then maybe do something with in the future because I have an idea of something that I want to do relating to Hellblade and Hellblade 2,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I'm gonna go back and replay both of them at some point back to back and see how the story kind of unfolds. And um, I don't know. I like how similar Hellblade is to the first one, but it's also incredibly different from the first one. Mostly because Senua actually interacts with real people this time. Uh,
Yeah.
so, and I love the interactions she has with like the real people in this game. Uh, and I mean, a couple of them are characters from the first game that you meet or like, are talking to you and whatever, right?
Yes.
So, um, yeah, I love this game. It's an all timer for me. I hope they release some sort of physical version for this game through like 'cause, I mean Xbox for their smaller games has been releasing games through limited run for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Hi-Fi Rush was the last one they did.
Yeah.
I think they did it for Doom Eternal on Switch. I know that. They released a couple other things through limited run. So I think Ghostwire Tokyo was one for Xbox that they released through limited run, the Xbox version
Yeah, because the PlayStation
specifically.
version got physical.
Yeah. Uh, but I really hope that they release a physical version of this at some point because I would really love to have a physical representation of this game just on my shelf as like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've for Xbox specifically, I've gone all digital essentially. For PlayStation, I'm mostly all digital as well. But for my favorite games of all time, I still have physical copies of those games just because they're my favorite games and I like to have my favorite games, so
Right.
I don't know. This is for me, this is a special game, and I will never. I I just want to hug everybody at Ninja Theory and tell them thank you for this game and the first one, but this one too. I just This game means a lot to it means a lot to me selfishly, I guess.
Hmm.
And so I don't know what else I can say about the game specifically that I haven't already said from a gameplay standpoint, but
Well, I
uh
know I text you and when I finish it, and I'm just like I'm speechless. Like I have literally no words, um, because there was character growth in Senua with this
mhm,
one, and
yeah.
it was um and and a little bit breath of the wildish when you had to go through the forest in a sense, even though that section was linear. um that's when you kind of seen the strength of Senua grow. And then um when a certain character, uh I say it I say dies, you have to play the game to find out who that person is. um I love the fact that the voice plays a part, of Senua to make her
Mhm.
stronger. And then just the way that last shot was so good.
Yeah, the one
Uh,
that's the header in my Twitter bio, that one,
yeah,
the
yeah,
silhouette image, yeah.
yeah. I was just like that. What they did with that, and while the voice is speaking, I'm like, this is perfect. This is a great way to showcase not only what's to come, I should say, uh,
Mhm.
but it wraps up the game nicely. And
And
the ninja,
there's very clearly gonna be a third one. Like, well,
mhm,
it ends nicely, right? But if
yes,
you are paying attention to the story of the Giants, right, there's very clearly going to be a third one.
hmm,
And, I actually think I love this experience, right? Like, I love the short 7-8 hour experience. And I think the third one will essentially be this too. But now that you have this, their quote unquote indie project with the first one, right? This
yeah,
is the second one's essentially I look at the first one as like a proof of concept for Hellblade, right? You look
yeah,
at Hellblade 2 and it is the big budget version of the first game, right? They got their budget. It looks incredible. It's it's the same experience on a huge budget, right? Which is
yeah.
great. And I know everybody wanted this to be like Xbox's God of War or Horizon or whatever. I actually think Ninja Theory could pull off telling this type of story in a third game while making a larger experience like God of War, right? Like I truly think that a third game, I feel like I this is one of the few cases where I feel like a larger game,
Hmm.
specifically how this one ends, right?
Yes,
Very specifically how this one ends and the story of the Giants and kind of where they're kind of focused that story on, right? I think the larger story, a larger game could benefit the story greatly, but you could still have that intimate mental psychosis story within the game, right?
well,
So I
well,
think, and
which
it doesn't have to be like open world per se.
yeah,
It could totally be like a God of War Ragnarok situation where like you have your kind of hub, which would be the town, right? The settlement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that can be kind of like your hub, and then you can go to these different areas and they can be like openly linear the way that God of War is, right? Where like it feels a little bit open. It gives you that kind of that illusion that it's kind of open, but it's very linear, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so um I actually think the first or the first the God of War 2018 did a better job than this last one of doing that, of making it feel open while being linear, right? I really
Mm-hmm.
think the first one did a better job than Ragnarok. I don't really care for Ragnarok a lot, to be honest. But I think you could totally do a God of War 2018 style game for Senua, and it's still have the same impact that these two games have,
Well, it's
right? I
well with Senya, like the main thing is this one particular voice.
hmm
That is the conflict with her.
yeah,
It's this one particular
yeah.
voice, and you kind of
Well, it's
see,
it's her father. Like
yeah,
it's that's the point of the first game, is that the deep dark voice is her father, and she still struggles with, even though he's was a terrible person, she still struggles with whether she needs essentially his approval or not, or you know what I mean, like
right,
essentially, and that voice haunts her. And also the terrible things that he did to people, and Dillian, and her mother, right? Like her mother
right.
was quote unquote sacrificed and died because of this psychosis
And,
that she's suffering
and
from.
that's the kind of voice that we're waiting for. We're waiting for the mother voice to come in and play a part, which we don't know.
She's in both games. The mother's voice is in both games. The woman's
Is
voice you hear in both games is her mother.
that's the in the left ear and right ear?
No,
Uh
no, the woman narrator you hear in the game is her mother. She's not
oh,
in it
I
very
thought
much, but she's in it.
I thought that was just a narrator, with it and everything.
No,
I was
that's her
thinking,
mother trying to calm her down from her father's voice, which is another conflict we could probably talk about for another 45 minutes on a spoiler cast at some point. But like I could do a 3 hour podcast. We've already been I mean, I could do a 3 hour show by myself on Hellblade and how interesting and important, and all the things that happen that are real and metaphorically, and you know illusionally, right? Like
yeah,
the dream world versus the real world, and the dreamscape, and the puzzles and the caves, and like all these things, right? Like there's all kinds of things in here that a lot of people will just skip over because they may not understand what the game's about, or they don't care what the game's about, and they just want a game to play through, and
it,
which is all fine and stuff. But this game was made to be an experience for a certain type of person, right?
yeah.
If you look at it as a straight up video game and you don't care about the story or whatever, sure, it's like
There's no,
it's a 6 out of 10. It's like a 6 out of 10, right? Like the
yeah,
combat is like relatively simple. It's you walk from place to place listening to the story, and then you'll run into a couple puzzles, and then you'll run into a combat scenario, and they are all very clearly separate types of scenarios, right? But
yeah.
if you take it all together and you understand what the story is about, and you understand a lot of the mental health things that are going on, like it's
It's it's one of those games that you need the narrative. You need the story. Cause
yeah, because that's what it is, right?
what
It's a
it is.
narrative driven game with some puzzles and some combat to keep people engaged, right? I mean,
And
that's
I
what it
think
is.
and I think that's it's funny how people want to pick and choose what games have the great narrative, um compared to other games that even if they have a great narrative, it's not up to their expectations or their standards of gaming and stuff. And it's like it's a weird dichotomy, kind of just weird that something like Hellblade 2, um like you're going to hear like the voices play a part in your head. The scenes with your dad play a part, um with Senua. The people she talked to and sacrifices that she's making and everything, like that all plays a part into the narrative. And so if you like don't grasp onto it, you're missing a lot and everything. And you could feel it's an emotional game at times because you could feel stuff for Senua, um and everything.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
uh like it that's why that forest part was such a change in a sense with Senua, because and that's why I said character growth, because you realize what's been in her head, and but then something kind of changes when you get to the forest part. And I don't want to spoil anything, everybody. Like if you are definitely if you are a Nintendo player and you love like the Legend of Zelda, if you love that lore and stuff like that, I definitely recommend playing this game. Like if you got a PC, a Series X or S, I recommend this game. Like highly recommend it. Like if you own a PC or that can run this game, or you own an Xbox, I think this game is required to be in your library.
I I definitely think that this game is worth experiencing. Like I said, I 100%ed it, got all the achievements in about 9 hours. You could do it faster if you played with a guide.
Mhm.
Um, I
Does
you could
does in
probably finish this game. You could if you just cared about the story and you don't want to look for all
mhm.
the faces or all of the lore stones or the some of the side puzzles and stuff, like you could
Yeah,
probably get through the story in about 6.5 hours if you're taking your time, right?
yeah.
uh, but also there's a lot of difficulty settings, right? There's easy, medium, hard. There's the adaptive one, right, where like the game gets easier or harder depending on how much you die. uh, so
Yeah, I
there's a
died
lot of
about
easy ways to play
twice or
this. I don't think I died at all. Um, oh, I think there was one point in the cave where I died where like you're supposed to follow the light trail,
yeah, that's where I died.
and I spent too much time like walking around looking for stuff, and like you see the red kind of face kind of flickering, and then you know
Yeah,
if it gets too red you die. But
died. Yeah,
I think that's the only place I died. I didn't die in any of the combat scenarios. I didn't die in any of the bosses or anything. So,
I died
but
at
yeah, I
in one of the fights.
um, it's definitely a game worth experiencing. It is a cinematic experience. It is not a traditional video game. I would say definitely not a
Hmm.
traditional video game. Go in with that in mind. It is a beautiful video game. It's probably the best looking video game I've ever seen. 100%. Um, everything in this game is Unreal Engine 5. The landscapes, the skyscrapes, the people,
Yeah,
none of it is like a pre-rendered cutscene. None of it is a live action set piece.
everything is
It's
all
all
in
in
game.
engine. Yeah. So, Ninja Theory, I know you're not listening, but if you are somehow, um, these games these games mean a lot. to me, and I hope that you get a chance to make a third one. And whether it's a larger experience or not, I don't care. I just want to see a conclusion to this story and see how Senua finishes this story, because there's at least one more story to be told with this, and I'm
Hmm.
interested to see what happens.
Yeah,
So,
it's to me, it's definitely. I think we probably won't see it until their next console.
oh yeah,
And
no,
maybe
I
after their next game and stuff. Um,
yeah.
but
Well, by then
yeah,
it'll probably be on everything. By then it'll probably be on everything. The way Microsoft's going, right, is like they're they're going to be a third party at some point. Um, I
yeah.
feel like Microsoft is going to be a third party that just happens to also put out a box with Game Pass. Uh, they're in an I don't want to get into it. They're in an interesting spot, but yeah,
Like I said, we'll see Sunday, and we'll leave it at that.
I,
Um,
see. I don't think we're going to see Sunday. I think it's going to be at least a year before
no, just what they have planned for Sunday.
oh
That's another
yeah,
another
no,
discussion what we can have about them. Uh,
yeah, no. I'm interested to see what Xbox has. Right, like I think Gears is a shoe in. I think Fable's a shoe in. I really hope that Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon are happening again, because
yes,
gosh,
I,
let
I
me tell
will
you,
say
man. Let me
Lost Odyssey would definitely need like that remaster.
let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Ooh, excuse me.
If those games got ported to Switch at all, like if this is the Lost, let me tell you, Lost Odyssey is the best Final Fantasy game nobody played. Hands down, it's the best Final Fantasy game. It's better than Final Fantasy 10. It's better than 12.
Whoa, well,
It's better than anything that's come out after 9. And I love Final Fantasy 10. And I love Final Fantasy 12. It's better than both those games. 100%. It's way better than 13. And I'm a 13 defender. I'm also a 15 defender. It's way better than both of those.
13. Yeah, 13 is one of these. An up and down game.
That
But I
the
understand
sad
what
thing
you're.
is
I
that
understand.
the sad thing about 13 is 13-2 is like one of the best Final Fantasy games ever made, and 13 turned so many people off that so many people just didn't bother with 13-2. But 13-2 is actually like really great. It's
13.
legitimately a great video game.
I think 13 too got a nice cover to it. Uh,
Yeah.
that's Lightning
Yeah, well, it's
Returns,
that
right?
no. 13-2 is the one about her sister and the boy that's in it. And it's the
Okay,
time traveling. It's the time traveling game.
which one?
Lightning
13
Returns
3
is the third one.
is the third one. Okay,
Yeah.
because I think that one
Yeah.
had that nice cover on it, like that blue.
With
And
her
I think
it
was it blue and
has
black?
it had well, it's the white background with lightning standing on it, but she has that kind of grayish cobalt armor set on.
Then there would have to be two. Yeah, because I thought there was a cover that she had. It was like blue and black.
They all have white covers. So
Oh,
I mean, the
I'll have
armor
to
is
look at
black,
it.
and the armor is like a bluish cobalt, dark gray color. Maybe that's
Hmm.
what you're thinking of. Also, the
Probably
player's
so.
guide to that was grayish blue.
Ah, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just remember that one of the game covers was really really nice to look at. So,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that 13 hasn't that trilogy hasn't been re-released in some form.
and it's one of the games that a lot of people want to have. Like a lot of people
Well,
just
I
like.
think that the game when the Steam Deck like as the Steam Deck has become more popular and they released
Mhm.
Final Fantasy 13 on Steam at some point, like it's been having a resurgence in the portable space, and a lot of people are like want it on Switch because a lot of people don't want to spend $700 on the top tier Steam Deck, right? So,
Hmm.
um, man, I really thought about getting a Steam Deck recently, and I'm just like, I don't want to pay that much money for that. If I'm going to pay that much money, it's going to be Nintendo in a couple games. Sorry, next year.
Right. This is for the successor. Well, well, with Final Fantasy 13, it's something that's kind of historic, and what I mean by that, everybody, is that it g- it it sold very well, but it's just like people did not like it, and just in reality, to be real, people did not like 13. It had
Well, it's
it had,
because they said it was too linear, but it did anybody play 10? People love 10. That game is extremely linear.
and I
Um,
think people love 10 because of the characters and some of the music and stuff
what
and
you don't
a
like
bit of the
Lightning
cutscenes.
and Shaz and what's his name? Snow?
Yeah,
Is that his
Snow.
name? Snow
Yeah, the guy. Yeah, there it
and
really.
Fang had that cool like mullet with the blue like weird trench coat dress thing going on.
Mhm. Well, it everybody felt like it didn't feel like a Final Fantasy game until you got to the open world part of it, because
I'm
you
so
got
tired
all
of that
the
though.
three characters. I think the thing was is that you had three characters, and then it started doing the two by two by two, and it was split stories throughout the thing. And so and then people feel like you really couldn't grind it. Like I said, it's one of those games that's just like it made money for Square. But like in Japan, just itself, they were just like, yeah, they sold 1 million, but then all of their bargain bins was all the trading in versions that people did because they didn't like 13. But now people, I think once like 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12 came out for all the consoles, definitely for Switch. Definitely now with the Pixel remasters, everybody was just like,
Well,
yeah, we now need 13. People want to
well,
replay 13.
well, 13 is the only game that's not besides the online games. 13 is the only one that's not available on Switch in some fashion, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have 1 through 6 in the Pixel remasters, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 2, 12, and 15 in the Pocket Edition.
Pocket
15,
edition.
I mean, it's not it was better than I initially remember when I made fun of it for so long and then I played it
Hmm.
and thought it was like actually kind of good, but like I mean, it's not really 15, but it's 15, right? I mean, so the entire series is available on Switch right now except for 13 and that 13 trilogy. So,
Yeah.
uh I mean, even Crisis Core is on there. Uh the I think that weird version of 4 with the after years is available somewhere.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
the only one that's not really on there is Sturge of Cerebus.
Well,
That's
that's not
the
available anywhere. I think
and
Square just wants to
yeah.
forget that game exists. Uh, although I have been hearing rumblings that the whatever the expansion is to Rebirth, like the Yuffie DLC for one for
Yeah.
remake, is
Yeah.
going to be a third person shooter in the vein of Dirge of Cerberus for Vincent.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Please
know
give it to
how
him.
real that is, but I've heard people talk. I've heard enough people talking about it that made me think like that's probably it might.
Give that give that to American developer. Y'all gonna do that.
They had some Western developers that were good third person shooting teams, and guess what? They sold them. So I don't know. Could have
Yep.
used could have put IO on that. You could have put IDOS
Crystal
Montreal on
Dynamics.
that. Crystal Dynamics. I don't know. One of those teams that you sold. Just throwing that out there.
Uh,
Uh, but man, yeah, I've had the itch to go back to 13 at some point and play it. Uh, Specifically because it like the upgrades on the Xbox version
mhm.
are like stellar. It runs at 1440p and 60 frames and has a whole bunch of like um whatever Xbox does with their backwards compatibility stuff, like it it removes like all of the screen tearing and the artifacting and all that kind of stuff. So like it's actually probably the remaster everybody wants that nobody knows about because nobody's purchased an Xbox.
pretty much. I mean, I have
uh,
13. I bought the digital version of Xbox because
mhm,
I got the physical for PlayStation 3. I couldn't find no physicals for 13. So I didn't know. I knew it was backwards compatible, but I just couldn't find no 13 360 versions. So I'm like, well, it's 3.99 on sale on Xbox Marketplace, so I just bought it there. Um, and I
mhm,
know I got to like that open world part to it, like the open space, and that's where I left off. I think I hopped off when the game started playing something else during that time.
mhm,
Because
yeah,
like I said, I had it on PS3 when I first played it, and so yeah.
mhm,
Um,
yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm reading I'm still reading that article trying to find this Lost Odyssey thing.
mhm.
So uh it's the comment the some of the comments and some of the things that it leads to, some of these links lead to probably a multi-plat remaster for all platforms. DS got two sequels to Blue Dragon, uh
Yeah, I
but not
remember
the first
that.
game. Makes me wonder if Microsoft plans to release all three of their exclusive JRPGs: Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, and Infinite Undiscovery. They're looking. It looks like Iron Galaxy is involved. Uh,
Them must was making money. I'm sorry, our Galaxy is making money doing all of these ports, and they were doing a phenomenal job.
yeah, it looks like. I mean, it looks like the DS games might come over at some point too. I forgot that it got. I forgot that Blue Dragon came to DS. It didn't come here,
Yeah,
but did it come
yeah,
here?
they
I don't
came.
think it came
Yeah,
here.
they came here.
The Blue Dragon DS games came here.
Yep, they came here because they was like in EGM and Game Informer and everything. They came here. They got
Oh,
reviews and stuff. Um, I think the only place though you could get them at was like at GameStop because they weren't like in Target or Best Buy. But I remember those games coming out here because Game
hmm,
Informer did reviews on them.
hmm.
Because I would have
And
picked them up.
somebody in the com-
I would have picked them up at Toys R Us.
somebody in the comments says, imagine if Blue Dragon came back before Lost Odyssey and Last Story, and that just kind of breaks my heart because Lost Odyssey and the Last Story are like the two best. Oh my gosh, man! I thought about, so my Wii U is still hooked up over here,
Mm-hmm.
right? I thought about going out and buying AA batteries for Wii remotes so I could play the Last Story.
Oh wow.
Boot my Wii U into Wii mode and play the Last Story. And I was like, that seems like a lot of work to play a game in 480p on this big, huge 4K TV that like probably looks like trash and probably not the best idea. I'll wait for the hopefully inevitable remaster someday, maybe.
Dude, man, if they drop that at the Nintendo Direct, I'm just like, well, Corey, we got some pre-ordering to do.
I mean, Fantasian is a real possibility at this direct, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you talk about games that like new games that would make their way over that Nintendo isn't really involved in. And Mistwalker's been saying they've wanted to put that game on console for a while, right?
Yeah,
It's just they're making so much money on mobile with that game, and like I think that game has multiple DLCs at this point, and I don't know. Let me
I I,
if Miss
I
Walker
like it.
if Miss Walker would have waited like 5 years and then formed like in the PS4 generation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like those games would have been multi-platform, man. Like Mistwalker, we'd be sitting here talking about Mistwalker once a month, right? I mean, in
Well,
a real way, not just oh, I want their games back.
I think that's why with, and this relates to Nintendo, everybody, and we're gonna get some family news. Um, but this relates to Nintendo
We don't
because
have to.
true. Because JRPGs have kind of like been been a big thing for Switch. It's been a big thing, like
Well,
a
they've been big for
resurgence for
Nintendo
like
handhelds.
RPGs.
They've been big on Nintendo handhelds forever. It's just like this is the first time console quality JRPGs are available in handheld form, right? And
Mm,
so, I mean, I think that's why Xenoblade blew up the way it did, is because I mean, it was a good series beforehand, but like everybody loves a good JRPG on the go or on the
yeah,
couch because you can sit there and grind while you're watching TV and it's kind of mindless to grind it out, right? And so, oh, yeah, this is awesome. And now, there's three of them seriously, and then one game that nobody ever played because it was on the Wii.
true.
uh,
Yeah, but it's just like when we talked about last week about if Nintendo purchased Miss Walker or Nintendo and Miss Walker teamed up for games to come to their system, like they would be probably one of the most powerful RPGs. Having an
I
RPG as
think
a company.
I think we talk about what Nintendo, they kind of have their hand in every pot, right? Like they have
Mm-hmm.
great platformers, obviously. They have great action adventure games with Zelda. They have great, um,
Arcade
I
sports
guess, I
games, kind of.
guess, I guess JRPGs with Xenoblade, but they're not like really traditional JRPGs, right? With like turn-based stuff, but like they are JRPGs because it's whatever. I mean, they have a great RPG series with Xenoblade. They have, like you said, arcadey sports games with like tennis, golf, soccer,
Mario Kart.
baseball. People still want baseball coming. Mario Kart. Uh, they have a lot of great. They have their hand in every bucket that matters, and what the one genre they don't have is traditional JRPGs, the turn-based, like serious kind of management style JRPG. Guess what Mistwalker makes and are incredible at it?
Turn-based
Traditional
RPGs.
turn-based RPGs with great stories and, great combat, interesting combat, simple enough to get into, hard to master type things, which is Nintendo's MO. Easy to get into, hard to master.
And and we know Fire Emblem is a strategy RPG.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
to
well,
put,
they have
just
a
to put
ton
that out.
of well, they have a ton of strategy RPGs, right? They have Advance Wars, they have Fire Emblem, they have Codename Steam, theoretically. Uh, they have their kind of weird RPGs with Paper Mario and Mario and
And,
Luigi, right? Like
and, and mostly the turn-based ones, because I know people gonna say Pokemon. Yes, Nintendo has Pokemon, but Nintendo doesn't really. They have stake in Pokemon. The Pokemon
they,
company owns the IP.
yeah, I mean, they own what, 49% of the Pokemon Company, and
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Company owns 51%. It's like one of those things.
Yeah,
Nintendo's like a minority owner of of Pokemon Company.
yeah, because of
They're
like
like a
Nintendo
major.
did
They're like the majority minority owner, right? So that's why
right,
those games are exclusive. Like if
and because
Nintendo
like
ever
if
sold off some of that stuff, I mean that's why you see Pokemon trading card game on PC and mobile and stuff like that, right? Just because
mm-hmm.
like their Nintendo's ownership is like a console only thing, right? Like
Yeah, when it comes to like
anyways.
hardware, Nintendo has that exclusive, um,
Hmm.
and everything, and that if you look at it, that is the traditional RPG. But like, if we're talking about party based traditional RPGs, Nintendo doesn't have anything at this moment. And stuff.
Hmm.
And yes, you could say Monolith Soft with Xenoblade, but that's just something that's beginning. It doesn't have a long history with all the titles that they have, um, as a company.
Yeah.
So,
Um. Yeah. So I think Nintendo could probably use them. But I mean, look, Nintendo's not. They're very clearly successful without them. So I mean, they're not going to go spend money where they don't need to. But it would be really, it would be really nice to see
mhm.
Mistwalker get their dues, and I think Nintendo would be the perfect company to steward that at this point.
Like at this point in time, to even get recognition and at least some good sales, I definitely could see Miss Walker and Nintendo talking because, like, look, Factor 5 kept their games away from American players, and in a sense that kind of hurt them, in a way. Now that they're bringing it back, like Factor 5 is not Factor 5, Level 5. Sorry about that. Level 5 is definitely seeing some recognition um and getting good sales and stuff because they're bringing that back. So everybody, Factor 5 is the Rogue Squadron team with Star Wars. Oh goodness, that needs to come back. I
Yeah, I
would
mean that
love.
HD. I mean, what hasn't Aspire done yet? I mean, that it's Rogue Squadron and Shadows of the Empire are like the two they haven't done right for console.
Dude,
So
that GameCube Rogue
might as
Squadron,
well.
like from the launch, man, that was
Yeah,
everything.
Rogue Leader. I mean, it looked better. I'm because at the time we were still watching the movies on like standard definition TVs, and like
Yeah.
CG still didn't look. I mean, it looked good, but it didn't look amazing, right? It was in that time where, uh, I mean, the special editions came out in what 1996, and Lucas was like experimenting then
Hmm.
with computer graphics, and so like when Rogue Squadron 2 came out for GameCube, like that opening cinematic where you're approaching the Death Star
Yeah.
around uh Yavin 4 or whatever, right? Like that whole scene looked better than the movies. That whole scene looked better than the movies. And it was like, dang man, this game looks incredible. And like, I mean, it was what it was, and it was a great game. And then, Rogue Squadron 3 kind of fizzled out because there was a lot of on foot missions, and it just didn't wasn't as good, and they had to force it
Hmm.
out before, no pun intended, I guess, force it out without kind of, it was like one of those situations where they had to push it out before it was finished, and um so it kind of feels unfinished. But I mean, Rogue Squadron 2, man, that is a banger. It's a
Yeah.
banger. uh but Ed, before we get into Family news, I know we have stuff to talk sort of talk about. I've shown tell.
Yes.
I don't know where you want me to start. So
Well,
I
let's
guess
let's start. So start with the latest. The
the
latest
latest.
items. Yes, the ones that you told
Oh,
me about. Because you kind of
well, I
completed
have
your
stuff I
collection.
haven't. There's stuff I haven't told you about. So I'm
Okay.
going to start with
So
that.
what?
So no, okay.
Yes.
Here. It's just laying. I'm just going to hold it up as it's laying here. So
Okay.
I got the steel book for Link's Awakening. It's
Yes,
very.
that I
It's a
know
Game
of.
Boy. It's a Game Boy. It has the Link's Awakening kind of opening screen on it.
It's
Um,
super cute. I love that so
and then
much.
the back has the cartridge in it. I mean, it's a fake cartridge, obviously, but it like looks really cool. And then the inside, Ed, is the coolest part. It has the world map in it,
Oh, nice.
and so that's super cool. Um, this is what I imported, and I wasn't going to. I was because I'm trying to get the Dreamers edition at some point,
Hmm.
and the European and Japanese versions of the Dreamers edition came with the steelbook. This steelbook, and the American version does not come with this. It comes with an art book. It only comes with the art book, and so I was like, I have to get the steelbook because it's. I mean, it's a Game Boy, and like Link's
Yeah.
Awakening is like
and
First
don't
Zelda
forget,
experience on Game Boy, and I don't know,
and don't
whole thing.
forget, Europe was getting a lot of these collections because they were trying to get sales in Europe.
Mm.
That's why they got a lot of collections that we did not get.
Uh, Speaking of collections that I didn't know existed until very recently, um, I got the Tokyo Mirage Sessions collector's
Yes.
edition for Wii U. This is the Wii U version. It's sealed, first of all, and I will do an unboxing of this at some point, but it
That is so Super Nintendo cartridge.
oh, I know the Xenoblade one looks like this too, by the way. It's on its way. The box is a lot smaller because like I've been getting the big boxes for the Switch collector's editions, like the Xenoblade ones
Yeah.
and the Fire Emblem ones
Uh-huh.
and stuff. And those ones are big, right? They're
Yeah.
huge. So I was like, oh well, the way this picture is, this is gonna be huge. No, it's like it's the Star Fox 2-pack for Wii
Uh-huh.
U. It's like smaller than that. So which was not what I was expecting. So it sits on the shelf. It looks really nice. Uh, I'm excited to open it and look at the art book, but I'm waiting. Um, Speaking of Xenoblade, I did not. So I did get the Xenoblade Collector's Edition, Xenoblade X Collector's Edition, but it's not here yet. I will show it off next week. But what did come was the guide.
That
The
guide is
collector's.
so beautiful, dude.
I know, and the art inside is really beautiful, and like it has a bestiary, and it's got like a I mean, it's like an
And it's
old
hard.
school guide.
It's hardcover too.
Yeah,
Man.
and it comes with like a screen cleaning cloth for your gamepad. It's like in perfect condition. There's no dings or anything on it. Um,
But
and
I wonder where you could have got it at because it I was at Toys R Us and we would get guides to Nintendo games and we never got that. Cause
I
I sure enough would have bought it when it dropped.
I didn't. I mean, I didn't know Xenoblade X had collector's edition. Why? I mean, there's
Oh
so
yeah,
many
I didn't
there's
sang.
so many games on the Wii U that could have got collector's editions and didn't, and you picked the two most niche games to give collector's editions in Tokyo Mirage Sessions and Xenoblade Chronicles X. Like
And and Corey,
what?
the crazy thing is that we was watching the Nintendo Direct. Why did they not say nothing about this?
I
Like
don't. I
at
know we were
all.
like. I mean, we were doing this show at that time. I mean, it was
Yeah.
2016, 15, 16, right? So I mean, yeah, I don't know. We were so this says
Because
2016 on it. We were doing the show in 2016, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's when we
we were.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like and like we I feel like we did like a whole episode on Tokyo Mirage Sessions at one point.
Yeah, we did because we did the when we I think we did a direct recap first, or we might have just talked about it in the show for that Nintendo Direct. But I know we talked about it for a good while,
Yeah.
because and everything. And I think it was that at that time that I don't know if that stuff was available to order from Nintendo because we weren't doing a lot of online ordering. People were going into stores to buy
The,
games.
well, this was about the time Nintendo revamped their store to buy so you could buy things online, right?
Uh huh.
Because like they were prepping because they wanted people to buy like the Nintendo Switch accessories, and so like the store got this big revamp. Remember when like their website was down for like half a day because they were like relaunching the Nintendo website, and
Yeah.
uh, they started getting rid of a lot of web pages and putting new ones up and placeholder web pages and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it was a strange time. Let me tell you, we started the show at a strange time, and I feel like if we were as seasoned then as we are now, like it would have been a really interesting show.
Oh yeah.
Uh, we were just dumb excited fans at that point. Um,
Oh, we
some would
still
argue
are.
some of us are still eccentric fans. Um, Speaking of fans, so I got the Xenoblade X Collector's Edition, and I got Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, and I got the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 amiibo, which are sitting on my shelf over there. I just didn't bring them over. So I have all of the Xenoblade collector's editions, which here's 3. I did get 3 in the mail. Very excited about this.
Nice.
Also also sealed.
The one that I struggled and never got. Like I literally was on that Nintendo website
Mhm. Yeah.
waiting to buy
And
that game.
yeah, so my Xenoblade collection, quote unquote, is complete, right? I have the Wii version of Xenoblade 1. I have all 3 versions of Xenoblade 1 right now, the
Hmm.
3DS and the Switch version very clearly. I think I showed the collector's edition of 1 on the show last week. And then I have 2 and 3 collector's editions, and then a Xenoblade X collection is on the way, and I got the guide for X. No guides for any of these games though, by the way, except for Xenoblade X. No strategy guides. So, and then last but not least, I got the Fire Emblem Engage Divine Edition.
Nice.
It is not sealed, um, and the corners are kind of hit on this one, but um, that's okay. If any of these collector's editions were going to come like that, I would rather it be that one because I'm not a huge fan of Engage, but uh, I like Fire Emblem, so I'm trying to get the collector's editions for. Uh,
Three houses.
well, no, I have 3 houses. It's back there. I showed it on the show last week.
Oh, okay.
Um, no, I want Shadows of Valencia collector's edition. I wanted the Fire Emblem Fates collector's edition, but man, that thing's like $600-700
Because that's the one with all 3 games, right?
on one
Like 2
cart.
games,
Yeah,
yeah, with the
it's all.
DLC for being the third game.
Yeah, it's the only way you can get the physical copy of the DLC is on that
Mm-hmm.
cart. And so,
Yeah.
um, look, I have Birthright and Conquest. I don't really care. I have the digital version of all 3 of them on my 3DS downloaded. Right, I did that before the um, store went offline.
Gotta admit, I
So I'm
do
not.
love both game covers of that, of Birthright and Conquest. I do love both of them.
Yeah, I thought it would be nice to have like the collector's edition of those games,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not. Nope, not doing it. So uh, what else? Oh, and then I want to get Shadows of Valencia, and I'm like looking at my idea now, Ed. Which I know we're an hour and a half into the show and haven't even gotten to news yet. It's fine. There's no news, guys. Let's talk about Legos for 10 minutes. No.
And this crazy
I
price point.
Yeah. It's the Nintendo and Lego tax tied into one product. um so I'm going to try to get physical copies of every Zelda, Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, and Mario game. I've decided. Um, and then like obviously I'm gonna finish my Wii U, 3DS, and Switch collections outright, right? Just because those are modern and still relatively cheap to get. I mean, there are Wii U games on eBay for like $7 and $8, and I'm like, dang,
Dang.
like
Those are
Injustice. Like there's a lot of Wii U games I could just shove on my shelf and be like, yeah,
it, it
got it,
li-
nailed it.
literally it those are garage prices.
Yeah,
Garage
I mean,
sale prices.
I thought about just getting them all and then like let everyone that I see and just like putting them all together in like complete copies or whatever, and then turn around and sell like a lot of Wii U games, and just to get rid of them, right? And so I don't know. I thought about that, but also I've spent a lot of money recently on these collector's editions, and so I need to cool it for a little bit, um,
Mm-hmm.
and start building that part up. Plus, like if we go to PAX West, like really gotta, you know, really
Budget.
gotta sit on some money for a while.
I
uh,
literally need to uh do garage sale shopping. Like
I know. My
go
wife,
to
my
some.
wife's been going. My wife went this morning without me. I'm like, you should have told me. I wanna go look for like video games, like classic video games, and see if they have like older games. Because especially like, I mean, especially because like, I mean, there are some. I don't know. I see people posting stuff online about. I found somebody found. I saw someone post online. Somebody found Tomba 2, and like Xenogears, Valkyrie Profile, and what was the other PlayStation um RPG, not called Final Fantasy, that was like really niche
Arc
but popular.
Arc the Lab,
Not
Beyond the
not
Beyond,
Arctila.
Wild Arms.
No, no.
Um
It was kind of like
um
Xenogears, but not really. That's another series I want. Now that I have all the Xenoblade Chronicles ones, I want to get all the Xenosaga games and the
Xenogears, Xenosaga.
Xenogear.
Oh, that's what those Xenosagas gonna be a shoot. Well, Gears is probably gonna be hard, but Saga's gonna be some money too.
Xenosaga 1 and 2, super cheap. Xenosaga 3, you might as well just sell an organ.
Yeah, because that was the last one.
Yeah. Man, I really liked that first game a lot, and then I never played the other two. I loved
I
that first game.
I used to read the just reviews of the Xenosaga ones, and all I used to read about is just like it's a movie. It's not a game.
Well, yeah,
Because
you had
they're
to put
just
time aside to watch the cutscenes, but I mean that was like Monolith's proof of concept for Xenoblade. I mean, all these games, like all the Xeno games, even though
yeah,
like Nintendo or Monolith technically doesn't own Xenosaga or Xenogears, like they're still connected. I mean, we talked a little bit about how Xenogears is directly connected to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, right? With
hmm
like, you know, the Noah name and the some of the other characters that are kind of, and I know like Cosmos from or Xenosaga is in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as like I mean, I know it's not like part of the story really, but like Cosmos and Talos both are in there, right?
yes,
Talos and the purple version of Cosmos is in there. So
it is literally so funny because Nintendo got that good, great relationship with Square Enix and Bandai Namco. Definitely with more with Bandai Namco. So I'm like,
yeah,
yeah,
but
dude,
that
I
was so here's the thing about Xenogears, right? It's a Squaresoft game, but this was at a time when Sony was publishing Square games on the PlayStation,
yeah,
which is why, you know, it took so long for Final Fantasy VII to get ported other places, which
hmm
is why, all those all those PS1 games and partly PS2, right? Like all those games, Sony was publishing those, right? Because that was the way they could, like, if they helped fund the game and fund the games, they could pull them off the N64 and put them on the PlayStation, right? Because
yeah,
the Nintendo 64 was so expensive to develop for because of the cartridges, and so Sony helped with the publishing stuff and the marketing stuff, and they came to PlayStation and later PC, but like, and Xenogears was part of that, and so Sony somehow technically owns part of Xenogears.
yeah. Xenogears, um, Where SquareSoft, they did release Parasite Eve, but Sony had nothing to do with that.
Vagrant
Now that
Story was the other game.
Vagrant Story, yeah, that was a big. See, Vagrant Story is a weird one. Um, due to the fact it's very niche and you barely seen it in stores, but it gets talked
I
about.
owned it at one point.
Oh,
I owned it, but when I got rid of my I like after the PS2 came out, I bought a PS1 and a bunch of PlayStation RPGs just to collect. And then when I moved out, I didn't know how to manage money, so I had to get rid of them and I sold them. Although
oh,
I sold Valkyrie Profile and the guide at the time. This was God, 15, 20 years ago at this point. I guess it wasn't 20. I guess it was more like 15 years ago. Like I ended up selling them. I ended up selling a Valkyrie Profile and the guide for like $320 at the time. So, I mean, it's like again, some of these PlayStation JRPGs physically, you might as well just like I don't know, invest in time travel at this point because it's cheaper than
pre-
going to buy one of these games.
pretty much, yes.
So I don't know, man. It's yeah, I don't remember where we were going with this. I don't remember what I was talking about, but
The collector's items for stuff for
right.
games
Yeah.
for
So
Nintendo.
I would like to get Monolith's other games at some point. I don't know if I'll
Saga,
get the physical. I don't know if I'll import the Bat and Kato's physical for Switch. I'm not like I don't. Here's the thing, Ed. Like we were talking about earlier in the show, 2 hours ago, the Europeans put that weird text on the side binding, and it just doesn't match the rest of the Switch games. So I don't want it. And of course, we didn't get a physical edition in the Americas for some reason.
mm-hmm.
Of course not. Why would we? Nintendo hates America, I guess. Although I think most of America hates America too at this point. But
Oh, yeah, pretty much,
that's a
yes.
why we're not getting into that political nonsense at this point. But I've been tracking down GameCube versions of those games, which I owned at one point. And dude, my GameCube collection, it just makes me really sad looking at what I had and what's gone now. It's okay though. It's okay.
That's why I cherish my Eternal Darkness so much. Like literally cherish that
Yeah.
game. Just like
I mean, that game's not even one of the more expensive games on Switch anymore. That game's like everywhere. Here's the thing: if you're gonna GameCube games, unless it's like a Mario game, right?
mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna be paying at least $70 for a GameCube game complete in box at this point, right? I mean, I was looking at cheap versions of Fire Emblem for GameCube for $275. Okay, so I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get that back someday. I'm gonna. Yeah.
be like
I have
literally.
I have
I just have a feeling we're gonna one of these days we each gonna be garage shopping and fall into it and be like $4.50, and I'll be like, "You take this money," because
dude.
if you don't find
The
it and I
sad thing
do, go ahead, Corey.
this the sad thing about Fire Emblem for GameCube, right, is like it was at every GameStop before the Wii came out for $24.99. GameStop was selling it for $24.99. Bat and Kato's $24.99. All these games for GameCube because nobody wanted GameCube games. Nobody wanted GameCube games, and so like I bought every single one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know,
Look,
man.
that's how Phoenix Wright on the DS became a popular series. They put that mug in a bargain bin for 1999, and that game flew. Phoenix Wright wouldn't be
Yeah,
as popular as it is if it wasn't sold at that price. And Capcom was
yeah,
shocked.
yeah. I'm telling you, man. This is I'm gonna be buying some games soon, and my goal is that every week I'm gonna have at least one show and tell. my goal every week is to do a video, like a retro game video at some point. And if I'm getting a collector's edition, it's going to be an unboxing. So I'm trying to find new ways to do content that's cheap and easy, right? And well,
Mm-hmm.
cheap in terms of time to do, not cheap in terms of money, because it's Nintendo and they're all outrageous and crazy. But yeah, that's my new goal in life now. I'm curating. I'm almost done selling and purchasing necessities, and now I'm getting back to the wants. So, if you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.
Well, Corey, how about we finally get into Family News? I'm sorry, I just had to laugh because we just like, do we really want to do Family News after just having that conversation?
Here's the thing: there's not very much news. We do have a couple questions in Discord, so we'll pull those in a minute. We don't have very much news, so we'll just blow through this. I don't even want to talk about this third story I put in here because it doesn't really. We talked about it already, I think, on an episode, so maybe we'll skip it depending on how these other ones go. But Family News, the first story here, Ed, is that the long-rumored LEGO Deku Tree set from The Legend of Zelda has been announced for a small amount of $299 US.
That the cool thing about me off.
The cool thing about the set, though, is that it is actually two sets in one, where you get to pick which set you can build. So it comes with an Ocarina of Time Deku Tree set, and it comes with, or you can build the Breath of the Wild Deku Tree set. So,
okay,
it looks cool. It looks nice. Not a Lego person. I would like to be at some point, but Legos are just way too expensive at this point. And not a popular opinion here, Ed, but I think Lego minifigs are ugly. I hate the way Lego minifigures look. They're almost as ugly as Funko Pops, if I'm going to be honest.
Goodness. My Toys R Us days and these minifigures, the mugs would come in and ravage through our minifigures. They kept picking them up, filling all around, and then just throwing them down because it wasn't what they were looking for. And they would do that for every time we brought out those minifigures. I used to hate that mess. I'm like, just buy a pack and leave. Yeah,
right.
This Zelda one, as cool. I mean, and I know people who already pre-ordered it, so shout out to them. Yeah, I was looking forward to this. When the announcement came, and then I heard the price, and I was just like, I could wait for these.
Never mind.
Yeah, you know,
oh, man.
It would be something
Good
that
times.
I would give to Stephanie or David or something.
Yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm not. I wish I was to an extent a Lego person, but I'm just not. So, hope everybody enjoys that. Look, that's like 3/4 of the next Nintendo console in terms of pricing. So,
yeah,
like I said earlier, I would rather just buy the next console in a couple games. Speaking of games, Ed, we talked about this, I feel like 4 or 5 months ago at this point. But apparently it's circulating in the news again because it's quote unquote official. Toys for Bob, the developer behind Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, are now officially independent, and Microsoft will still publish their next game, which, spoilers, is probably another Spyro game. because that's all they've been talking about and teasing on social media. There was that Spyro for art in the Crash Bandicoot game
Mm,
art book at one point. So to me, it seems like they're making us another Spyro game. I don't know if that'll be their next game or the game after, but they are very clearly working with that IP, I think. So I don't know. Good for them. You know, I'm glad they got to become independent and not close like Tango did. But
yeah.
I don't really have anything else to say. I don't. The Spyro games are great, but uh,
I
I hate
I
Crash
want them to
Bandicoot. Those
do. I
games
want
suck.
them to.
I hate, dude.
uh,
I hate Crash so much. Like, you know how people have a passionate hatred for Sonic the Hedgehog?
yeah.
That's how I feel about Crash Bandicoot. I hate Crash Bandicoot. Every time
I
he
will
falls in the pit, I hope he just stays down there.
I will say this because I 100% the second game first. Because my cousin got it for Christmas. I was fine with that. 100% it the first game because he got it after. Those are the only two Crash games I actually played. I never played any other Crash game, not even the 3D ones when they weren't on Activision and Sony didn't own them. I didn't play any of them. All I know is this: when Insomniac brought Jack and Daxter out, I was just like, "This is what I wish
You mean
Crash was."
Naughty Dog?
That's Naughty Dog
You
did
said
Jack and Daxter. I said
yeah,
Insomniac.
yeah,
Insomniac had Ratchet and Clank. I thought they did Jack and
yeah.
Daxter.
Nope,
Naughty Dog did
nope.
Jack and Daxter.
Sucker Punch did Sly Cooper. Naughty Dog did Jack, and Insomniac did Ratchet.
Okay. Well, my
Man, Sly Cooper.
apologies.
Man, Sly Cooper too, man. So
Dude,
Here's the thing about Jack and Daxter, right? The
mm,
only good Jack and Daxter game, in my opinion, is the first one.
100%. I, Corey, I would not disagree with you at all.
I tried so hard with Jack 2. I finished it and I did
I
not enjoy it. And then
I
like
could not.
I mean I mean I mean Jack 2 and 3 were basically just like GTA 3 had kind of hit and everybody wanted to make their own version of GTA,
yeah.
and that included mascot platformers, and it wasn't great. And actually that last Jack game that came out, the Final Frontier, that wasn't Naughty Dog,
Mm-hmm.
that everybody seems to forget exists, but is on PlayStation 5 as a PS2 classic right now that you can buy or play if you are a subscriber to one of their 750 tiers of PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Uh, is actually a lot like the first game, and it's actually really fun. It's not as good as the first game, obviously, but it is a good time.
It
Uh,
was Jack 3 was the racing game, right? Or was that
no,
separate?
that was separate. That was Jack Combat or Jack X Combat Racing,
Okay. Um yeah,
which was essentially
the
Crash Team Racing reskinned.
oh wow. Well, yeah, that's true. The vehicle movement in Jack 2 and some of those level designs was just
Well, they had those hover bikes that were just
horrible.
awful. They were awful to control. They didn't control like any
Yes.
other driving. It didn't control like any other driving game in terms of like the button inputs either, especially at the time, right? Like I remember Jack 2 just being a horrible time.
Horrible.
Uh,
And I Jack and Daxter for PS2, the first one, 100%. Like I got everything
mhm.
for it. Oh
But
goodness.
here's the thing though. I really like the first. I love Jack and Daxter 1. It's like it's a really
I do
great
too.
video game.
I,
It's
I
a
do
really great
too.
video game. Daxter is funny. Like Jack's kind of because he doesn't talk in the first one, right? So like
Hmm.
his kind of like the animation on his face shows really great emotion, like almost Wind Waker esque facial emotions. Like it was
And
really great.
he was like really easier to control
Hmm.
in that game.
Yeah, the platforming was great. Like it was a wonderful game. That first one is
Yes.
awesome. It's probably it's definitely a top 10 PS2 game for me by far.
Yeah.
Um, so, but anyways, I want that back at some point. I mean, I don't care. I know it's not going to be Naughty Dog, and I don't want it to be Naughty Dog at this point. They are very clearly out of the platforming cartoon mascot
Real.
thing. I mean, they have been for almost 20 years at this point, right? So,
It right
uh,
right now platform gaming for Sony is Astro Boy because just and I'm no disrespect to them. I was just like, I'm definitely cool with that. Someone made the comment, they were just like, they hope the next 3D game played like Astro Boy. I'm like, wait, hold on, rewind that back. That would never happen.
well, Astrobot seems to be
Astro Bot, not Astro Boy.
hitting in a way that they wanted Sackboy to, and Sackboy never did,
Yeah,
right? Even with Sackboy's Big Adventure on PS5, like nobody talked about the game and everybody loved Astrobot, right? So
yeah,
um I'm glad Sony is trending in that direction, right? Because there are way too many sad dad simulators and serious games, and you know what I mean? Like there's just too many of those
and
I take
five v
myself so
five
serious simulators.
Overwatch. Oh goodness. Oh.
Oh, and Concord.
Oh
Are
goodness!
you talking about
Did we?
Concord?
Yeah, and I'm like another arena shooter. Like
I
Sony, you
didn't.
got too many of these. Cool trailer.
I mean,
The cutscene
do
stuff
they though?
was really
First
cool.
of all, it's a hero shooter, not an arena shooter. But second of all, they don't have anything. They don't have multiplayer games except for Helldivers. Like that's their one claim to multiplayer.
I think some of them they show, but I think they got released. It's just nobody cared about them. I would have to go back
I,
to some
I mean,
old
they
they
have.
state of plays.
I mean, they have stuff in the works, and obviously, like Destiny is theirs technically now, but like they don't
Yeah.
have multiplayer games. My point is like it's nice to see that they have some sort of like cartoony fun
Yes.
game other than Ratchet and Clank and Sad Dad Simulator 3000. Okay,
Yes.
so uh, I heard that term. I heard people use that term the other day for The Last of Us and God of War, and it made me laugh so hard. I'm like, it's so true. Let's give all these old PlayStation characters kids to take care of.
Right.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
I hate it so much. Dude, 90% of the reason why I won't finish God of War Ragnarok is because Atreus exists. I hate Atreus so much.
And the
Kid
thing about
sucks.
it is that his gameplay in this game is good. I will say that it feels
It's
really
okay.
good. It feels like a Tomb Raider game. Like that's what I would say that about it. Um Goodness, but once I wrapped up Ragnarok, I'm like, I'm taking this off my system. It just didn't do nothing for me at all.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
didn't do
bad a
anything
bad
for me
game.
either.
It didn't do nothing for me.
I mean, part of me wants to finish it just because I'm like I love God of War as a series.
Hmm.
And the rumors of them remaking the first game has me kind of intrigued and excited in a way.
Oh goodness,
Um,
I do not
like
need to hear what's.
the very first game, not
I know.
2018,
I
but
just don't need to hear what's his name mouth about that.
I don't know what's his name is and
The
what the air quotes
creator,
mean. Oh, David Jaffe.
David Jaffe. I do not need to hear his mouth ever
Oh
again.
man,
I'm like, oh
he's so
goodness,
funny.
he is a
You don't listen
mess.
to Gavin in games, do you?
Oh no,
I
I do. He's been
I think
he.
it, he's
This
so
is a off
fascinating.
air. This is an off air conversation because
I
I
know, and
connected
I know.
him to a certain TV host who is just bunkers. Also,
A TV host.
yeah,
I don't know what
his
that means
name
either, but
starts with
we'll
an
talk about it
S and
later.
his name starts with an S and he's bald headed. X Play, Adam Sessler.
Oh, yeah. Oh God, what a his
That's why
name
I
starts with
said
an
that's
A, not an S. God,
where everybody called him Sessler. So that's why I was just
I don't. Yeah.
that conversation is off air. This is Nintendo Pow Block, everybody. or,
Man.
or
Anyways,
yes,
what were we talking? Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Toys
But
for
for
Bob.
Toys for Bob, I would love to see
Spyro.
a new IP from them as a new
Yeah.
game. I'd like to see that. I'm
Yeah.
cool with
Maybe they're making
Spyro or
Banjo.
Crash.
Moving on.
Thank you,
Last.
because my eyes darted at you when you said that. I'm like, wait a
I
minute.
know. I felt them. I wasn't looking, but I felt them. The last story here is kind of a non-story because we kind of talked about it already. But Take Two responds to their studio shutdowns, and they may sell off or close private division entirely, focusing on major AAA games. So Take Two, parent company of 2K and Rockstar. So, Red Dead, Grand Theft Auto, Borderlands, NBA
Okay.
2K, that FIFA game is coming out soon. Did I say Borderlands? I said Borderlands.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
I have
Um,
multiple questions, but I'm just only
I
gonna
don't.
focus on one. Um, if they made all of this money, because private division also made them a lot of money, what they're getting it closed down for? I'm like, even with
Well,
Rockstar, like GC, I'm like, y'all mugs pulled in billions for this company, and I'm like, what's going on? Because this is to me, this is complete nonsense.
yeah. Well, look, Strauss Zelnick is a very, I don't want to say, I don't want to say the good version of Bobby Kotick because that's, I don't, whatever. He's a very efficient businessman. Like he's very good at that aspect of in terms of just I'm running a business by the numbers type thing, and I
Hmm.
am going to uh see what the most efficient way to make the most amount of money is. And um even though private division was making hundreds of of dollars, they have products that make billions of dollars. So why would you waste money on investing in these smaller projects? And I'm saying this from a business perspective, from a
Hmm.
person who runs a multi-billion-dollar company who has to appease the shareholders. I'm not talking from a this is they should definitely close private division. I think private division is a great idea, especially it's like the EA Originals program for Take Two, right? Like where they invest in these smaller the Outer Worlds came from private division. Ollie Ollie,
Yeah.
I think Kerbal Space Program, which were the two studios that got shut down, and then the third one got bought by Microsoft. So uh yeah, I mean, he wants to focus on the games that are going to make them billions of dollars, which are BioShock, Borderlands, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, NBA 2K, right? Those are the products that they put out. And those are the products that make them billions of dollars every year. So, and now they have access to FIFA. They have the FIFA license now.
Yeah.
So whatever that soccer game looks like this fall, they'll have that too, which, will, depending on how good it is, will probably make them money also, right? So, uh, we'll see, but it's sad to see private division go. I'm sad for these studios too, especially the
Yeah.
Ollie Ollie studio, right? Because uh, you know, the Kerbal Space Program 2 studio, even though I feel bad that studio shut down, it's not the original Kerbal Space Program studio. It's a different studio of ex Kerbal Space Program developers who created a new studio because 2K owns Kerbal Space Program because they published the first one, but it's not that. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
It's weird.
So hope everybody lands on their feet. I hope,
Yes.
you know, I don't know. I hope Grand Theft Auto 6 was worth shutting this stuff down. That's all. I don't know. Man. Let's go into some Nintendo Direct predictions here, Ed.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna pick three. We're gonna pick three kind of good, good predictions, possible prediction, like possibilities, real possibilities. Then we're gonna have one hopeful thinking.
Okay.
I mean, my hopeful thinking is essentially a possibility as well, but they just won't do it. So I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
So Nintendo Direct, and this is just for the summer one. So my prediction is that they are going to um they're going to do a Metroid Prime 2 pack of 2 and 3 remastered. And it's going to lead into a Metroid Prime 4 trailer. We're finally going to see Metroid Prime 4. I don't know how much of it we're going to see. I think that it's going to be one of those things where the real announcement is 2 and 3, right? Like that's the announcement. But then they
Yeah.
just tease 4. That's my prediction. We're gonna get a lot of remakes and remasters in this direct. I hope everybody knows that.
I mean, that's what a
Maybe
lot of
even
people try.
maybe even another 1-2 Switch. Who knows? Jeez,
Which
dude,
a
I
lot of
can't believe we got a
people
sequel to that.
do. I seen still. I think Amazon had that like for $9 or 50 some dollars. Someone had it
Yeah, I
for
know.
cheap. Like,
I bought it for $9.99.
oh yeah, okay, yeah. I
It's
remember
on
you
my
told me
shelf over
that.
there.
Oh my good googly
Uh,
moogly.
I know.
Uh,
It was a terrible decision. That's fine.
um, are we going just back and forth? Uh,
Yeah.
okay. So my prediction, that kind of, so I know we've been on this GameCube kick, and I
Mm-hmm.
literally was talking to um Josh Martinez. We was conversating, and I kind of want a remake or a remaster of Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes on Switch.
If you would
Because
have said that,
Nintendo's. Oh, go ahead.
if you would have said that, a year ago, even,
Hmm.
I would have said that's never going to happen. But Konami seems to be really just doing whatever they want with their IP, right? And I know Metal
Yes.
Gear Solid, I know Snake Eater is getting a remake, and it seems like they're going to try to do the Resident Evil thing where they're just going to remake the games at some point. I think there I think there's going to be a full on remake of Metal Gear Solid at some point, and it will be on Switch 2 is my thought. And
Well,
it will be
that was a hopeful one for me. That if it happened, if they like do a remake like graphic
mhm.
wise, like really get into it, Nintendo successor would be the system, because because Nintendo owns. I don't know what the deal is, but I know Nintendo Konami have something
Mhm.
where that game can't appear on any other console. It has to
Mhm.
stay
It
on
Nintendo well,
Nintendo.
Nintendo has the first right of refusal for
Excuse me.
publishing rights. It's the same thing that Microsoft had for Sunset Overdrive for a long time, and it still has for Sunset Overdrive, because even though Sony owns the IP now because they bought um, Insomniac,
Yeah.
Microsoft still owns the publishing rights for the first game. So they have the first right of refusal to put it on PlayStation because they're the only ones that can publish it.
Yeah.
Also, it's the same thing with Quantum Break as well, right? Like Microsoft, well, I guess Microsoft kind of owns Quantum Break, so maybe. But the thing I can compare it to the most is Sunset Overdrive right now. So
Yes.
Nintendo, Konami owns the game; they own the IP, but Nintendo helped fund and publish the game, so that's why it can't appear other places.
Uh, uh, Didn't Nintendo fund the whole game?
It's some sort of weird partnership thing, right? I don't
Because it was
really,
like,
I don't know the history because I don't care about Metal Gear like at all.
yeah,
Um,
because Silicon Knights was the developer and Nintendo owned them
mhm.
at the time.
No,
I
Nintendo never owned
No, they
Silicon
did
Knights.
not. No, because
They
Microsoft
funded and
and
published their games, right? So,
yeah, because Metal Eternal Darkness was first, and then Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes because it was those three. With
mhm.
what's his name from Silicon Knights, Hideo
uh,
Kojima and Miyamoto. Because
yeah, because
Miyamoto was
after
kind of
that,
involved.
yeah, because after that they did that deal with Microsoft for Two Human, right? That was their last game,
Yeah, yeah.
and we see how well that
that
went. So,
that Unreal, that that Unreal situation. Wow.
yeah, that was
But yeah, Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes being getting a remaster for Switch would be like something real cool.
yeah. Um, let's see. My second, uh, I guess, sort of safe one would be I think I think we're gonna get a Wii HD remaster, another one of Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Hmm. Okay.
I think that game. There's been a lot of talk about Donkey Kong recently, especially because of the Mario movie. Um, a lot of people seem to want a new Donkey Kong product. I know Nintendo's not going to waste that on a new game on the Switch at this point. So I think an HD remaster of the first one would be great. I know we got the 3DS version, but I think an HD version to go along with Tropical Freeze would be a great. Just to have both of them in HD on the same console would be, you know, probably ideal. So I know it's a simple one, but that's my guess.
Okay. For me, okay. So my second prediction deals with Nintendo Expansion Pass or Nintendo Switch Online, I should say. And I think we are going to get Dreamcast games. We might actually see some Wii games on here. And just for laughs, just for the most wackiest things to
For
ever
laughs, yes.
appear, that you get a black screen and then a green X logo comes up. And Xbox, the original Xbox games are appearing on Nintendo Switch.
Okay. I don't know what to say to that, but okay.
It's just a wacky thing. I mean, how do you think people would react if they sing that? Because I think there are some Xbox games that's the kind of like third party that never came to Nintendo, like
hmm
GameCube and stuff, and it would kind of probably be cool. Like this is a way that you guys could play it through the Xbox, um, Switch Online, and that because yeah, um, just just
Yeah, I mean,
throwing it out there.
there's definitely games that would fit in Microsoft's portfolio that would be on there. I mean, we talked about two of them for 25 minutes at the top of the show, but In terms of like original Xbox, like they own Psychonauts now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Conquer Live and Reloaded, that has a history on Nintendo, right? You could definitely see stuff like that. I don't I don't know how much more you would see. I mean, I guess you could put the original Fable on there. A lot of the games they published are already on there though, like Knights of the Old Republic is on there. I guess you could see something like Jade Empire make it over at some point. I'm just trying to think of like original Xbox exclusives. Like, I mean, all the Oddworld games that were on the original
Mm-hmm.
Xbox are on there in like an HD form at least. Um, See, that's the problem with like original Xbox and the original PlayStation and stuff is like a lot of the stuff that they either published or funded for as like a second party like has all been like re-released in some sort of collection or remade or remastered to sell. So like I'm trying to think of like original Xbox. I mean like what Mech Assault, right? Mech Assault 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Um Black was multi-platform.
A game
So
that
I
never
mean,
got.
and Halo would probably come over in some sort of Master Chief collection because they want to make money off of that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like that would be on the next console, presumably. Um, Man, I don't know what you do with original Xbox. I think it would be neat. Like, what are you gonna put Azeric on there? Fusion Frenzy would actually be a really good, fun party game to put on there
Yeah.
for people who like Mario Party and stuff. Like Fusion Frenzy was awesome. Um, I don't. I mean, maybe you could make a deal with Burger King to put those Burger King games on there. Uh, it's not a bad idea. I mean, Jet Set Radio, but like Sega's already putting those out. New versions of those games out. So
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking of like all the Dreamcast games that Xbox ended up putting on the original Xbox, like Crazy Taxi, Sega GT, 2000, Shenmue 1 and 2, but all those are either being remade, aren't relevant, or have already been re-released. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather just see them focus on Sega and Dreamcast in particular. Give me some of those games that are really expensive, like Illbleed,
Oh yeah.
uh, Blue Stinger, Dynamite Cop, Virtual Cop. Those early Virtual Fighter games. Give me Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, even Sonic Shuffle, I guess, on there. Um, give me some of those games, like get Choo Choo Rocket, Crazy Taxi 1 and 2 would be awesome. Like, give me those games. Like, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I want Dream. I think Dreamcast is like the perfect system to put on the Switch at this point. Uh, but I don't know if we're ever gonna get it. I hope we do. I think Dreamcast would be because like it came out in that weird spot before PS2, right? But it's still considered that
Yes.
generation, right? Like the
Yes.
GameCube, Xbox, PS2 generation.
Yes.
But it's really more technologically like a little bit better than the Nintendo 64, really. So I always like I never had a Saturn. So
Same here.
like in my mind,
That
the
would
Saturn
probably
would
be
be pretty in
that would be the system to put on Switch if they could get the emulation right.
yeah.
Saturn would be
Yeah,
the
well
good one to go.
that's the thing is Saturn emulation is like notoriously hard to do.
Yeah.
Because of all the security lockdowns and everything, and that's why the dream like then they turned around and made the Dreamcast like you could play burned discs on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were selling Dreamcast in stores. I saw they had like a big end
We
cap
we
at
talked
Target.
we talked about this.
Oh man. But
Burning
like
gas.
I mean, you could put Skies of Arcadia on there because it's very clearly not getting the GameCube version.
That'd be
So
one that
like
we would
that would
need.
be like the next best thing. Man, Skies of Arcadia is so good. There's so many good. There are so many good RPGs in that generation alone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not just talking about the Final Fantasies or the Kingdom Hearts or the Personas, right? I'm talking like, we talk about Tales of Symphonia all the time, but there was also like Tales of the Abyss on PS2. There was Rogue Galaxy, Dark Cloud 1 and 2, uh, Skies of Arcadia. I mean, even the GameCube stuff like Bat and Kados, everybody loves and
Mm-hmm.
was okay, even though it's a card system that sucks. Uh, Paper Mario, like there's so many great RPGs that gen. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people kind of either like to say the Super Nintendo or the PS1 have the greatest libraries of JRPGs, but like, I don't think you can discount that generation,
You
right? The
can't.
PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation.
Thank
Like, you
you.
can't.
Yeah. You can't. That's to me. That is, I want to say, the beginning of modern video
The end
games.
of
Even
JRPGs. Sorry,
I
that
think
was a joke.
I think from like that is the beginning of modern video games because I think with like PlayStation 1, Saturn, um and the N64, it's just that even though that's kind of that timeline of gaming, what we
Mhm,
have now kind of was birthed from those modern systems from like GameCube, Xbox, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2 and everything.
mhm.
So
Yeah. Um. Well, I guess it's my turn, right?
yes,
Again.
this is your third prediction.
Hmm. I think. I think we're gonna get that long rumored Fire Emblem remake announced this year. Um. The rumor has been for a long time we're going to get another Echoes game, which Shadows of Valencia I think was a remake of Fire Emblem 2, right? If I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken, Fire Emblem 2. So yeah, I think you're gonna. This is gonna be a remake of maybe one of the last ones we never got before the GBA games, right? Because the GBA Fire Emblem that's just titled Fire Emblem is actually like what, the fourth or fifth game in the series.
Hmm.
So I think we're gonna get another. I think we're gonna get that Fire Emblem remake. I want the Fire Emblem Pirate game that we talked about that was rumored when Engage was coming out. Where's the pirate game? I love how that rumor like persisted for years. That rumor
Years.
persisted, and then after Engage came out, nobody talked about it, and that's the only Fire Emblem game I want.
And
I want a
this is,
pirate.
but
I,
Corey, this
I,
is the crazy thing. You're
I
hoping,
want
you're
Pirate
wishing
Emblem. I
Fire
want
Emblem.
I want Pirate Emblem three ships. I want it to play like Three Houses, but I want it about pirates.
Why do I have a
I want to
feeling
I want to
this?
take a pirate ship. I want to take a pirate ship and I want to shoot dragons with a pirate ship.
Why do I have, like I said, why do I have the feeling that you're saying this? We're joking around. It could be a rumor, and then just out of nowhere, Nintendo delivers it to you this game, and I'm gonna be like, "What the heck?" Because you will be on.
Look,
You've been on the streak getting the stuff right.
I know. I know. So, as much as I would love that to happen, the next new entry to Fire Emblem is not going to be on the Switch. It's going to be on the next console.
So,
It's going to be on the next
yeah.
thing. Uh, so there's that. But I hope that whatever this remake Fire Emblem is, it plays more like Three Houses than like Engage. I just want the story to be interesting and engaging and I don't know. I've thought about going back to Fire Emblem Engage for a while because maybe I just didn't get far enough into it. Maybe like Three Houses and Three Hopes were so like those characters are so memorable and so, you know, I loved all of those characters.
Yeah.
And then when you give me a new cast of characters at this point, it's like I don't know, man. It just like I want to go back to those characters and continue their stories. Uh and maybe and that's a me thing, right? Because like
Yeah.
I love Fire Emblem Awakening. I have my Lucina amiibo front and center back there on the shelf, but like
Awakening is
um
so good. Mwah.
man, I that's a Figma good smile figure that I want really
I
bad.
do
I've been
if
looking at those.
uh-huh.
I've been looking. I mean, they're like $150 a piece, but I want the Lucina one. I want the Xenoblade ones, which there are three, and I want the Twilight Princess Zelda one.
That
Those are like the Figmas that I want.
if they remaster Awakening, put it on Switch and re-release the
Mhm.
amiibo.
That would be. I could actually really see them doing that because that's
Mhm.
like really the first game that three houses, the three houses formula would actually really fit Awakening. I think.
And I mean, like Intelligent Systems, since they've been remaking a lot of their old work and stuff, besides like Engage, I could see this happening,
Hmm.
and I think that would work. Um, that Intelligent System, they do a little bit of the remasters before they bring out their new game. Kobe Tecmo helps out with the new Fire Emblem game. Uh, like I think that could work so well. So that way we could still get like old remaster, old game beginner remaster, size to be on Switch, and then a new game from Koei Tecmo and with some help from Intelligent System that is the next chapter in the Fire Emblem series. Like I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I think that would be so cool because like Awakening, I think that's the one that probably now need the remaster and put that mug in widescreen. Oh,
Yeah.
now the question would
So.
be, what would the amiibo do in Awakening? Now Nintendo Intelligent System could figure that out because I would love to have amiibo for that game
Hmm. Yeah. I'm.
and a
Man.
Shaz amiibo I need.
By the way, good luck. Good luck buying the Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem games physically.
Oh shoot, child,
I mean, the cartridge by itself costs like $70.
shoot, I have one of the Fire Emblems for Game Boy Advance. So
You do? Which one? Is it Sacred Stones or is it the other one?
I think it's the other one.
The first one, technically, I guess it would be for
I
like the
think so.
first one,
I
the
think
one
so.
that's just
It's
called Fire Emblem.
yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Well, I don't like you right now. I mean, I don't like you right now anyway, but that's a conversation for off air
Wait,
again.
what? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
love you.
Don't make me bring it up on air. I'll slap you. What's your third one, Ed?
Um. So my third one is as like for a prediction. Um. Like I definitely would love to see Beautiful Joe 1 or 2. Like I would love to see some of Clover's old work come to Switch. I know we got Okami, but man, I would definitely love to see Beautiful Joe 1 or 2. Like
Yeah,
remaster and
who
come to Switch.
who was I talking? Was that last week's episode where you, me, and Stephanie were talking about Beautiful Joe for a minute?
Yeah,
Yeah, because we were talking about GameCube games.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Beautiful
Cause
Joe.
yeah,
I'm
cause we you did the list of GameCube games that were on
mhm,
Switch. Yeah.
right. I'm really surprised that Beautiful Joe has never been re-released in some form, even as like a Beautiful Joe HD for 1999 on some sort of downloadable service somewhere, right? Like I'm just really shocked that it never came out anywhere.
Yeah. because yeah, I think Capcom. Well, we know Monster Hunter Stories was probably going to be in it because that game was releasing soon, and it's probably going to be at Capcom Showcase. Also, I have a feeling that there may be games that's not in Capcom Showcase that will show up on in the Nintendo Direct, and if that happens, like man, like man, if Onimusha could touch down on Switch, I would be so. I think it already had. No, it hasn't. It's on like other platforms because I see that game on sale on Xbox and stuff. But man, like I would love to have Onimusha as a collector's edition on Switch. Um, but like Beautiful Joe 1 and 2, man, Beautiful Joe, uh,
Well,
that
Onimusha
game.
Remastered is already on Switch.
Switch. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, but I think it was just that one game. They don't have 2 and 3 on
Well,
Switch. Like,
three like never got re-released because the actor has some sort of rights thing,
yeah,
right? That was the thing.
I think the
Um,
likeness thing, kind of. Yeah,
something like that.
I never played the game after that. I think on the Mushu 4, I never got to play that one. Um, but yeah,
One of them was an Xbox game, right? Warlords. That was the fourth one,
yeah,
right? For the
yeah.
Xbox. Yeah.
I would laugh if I see the Dead Rising collection come on Switch. Be like, Capcom, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah. Look, Capcom doesn't need any flubs right now. Okay, well, they've got a lot of great things going on. They don't need a. They already got their one kind of. We don't know what we're doing with this in Exo Primo. Okay, so they they can't be putting out.
Dude, that went silent with the quickness, but they have that game for PlayStation still that they need to.
No, Exo Primal. They just put out a bunch of Mega Man DLC for it.
No, it was another one that they had,
Are you
wasn't
talking
it?
about that one that everybody thought was Onimusha that's coming to Game Pass?
Not
Is
that
that the one you're
one.
talking about?
There was another space one that was PlayStation exclusive
Oh,
with that little girl and that guy and stuff. Because I
yeah,
think
the space one.
I think when I seen it, everybody, I think we all thought it was like Vanquish for some reason.
Para something, right?
Yeah,
Something. I forget what it is. Yeah, I remember because they showed it at the PlayStation launch thing, right?
yeah, and it's
Or
literally
soon
just
after.
been it literally has been quiet with that game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Um I mean I don't care enough to look it up. I forget what it's called, but yeah, I remember that. That was yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
so
oh man. When did Fire Emblem come to the Game Boy Advance thing on Golden
um,
Sun? Oh, I remember. Okay, never mind. I remember when Golden Sun came. And people were like freaking out about it, and I was like, I don't think anybody really cares about Golden Sun. Golden Sun is like the Game Boy Advance Earthbound, where people act like they care about it, but it really only sold like 12 copies.
I was one of the 12 then that brought it because I bought Go to Sun 1 and 2, or the second half because but shoot, now it's on Switch. It's so weird. It came on Switch. Everybody said they was gonna play it. Now it's just like Go to Sun who? Go
Who
to
played
Sun
it?
what?
Who played it? Anybody out there play it? No, you didn't.
Ray.
You didn't. You didn't play it. Nobody played
I
it.
I played it. I brought it and played it and beat it. For Go to Sun.
Well, it's because you buy and play every single game that has ever existed. You don't count. You're an anomaly.
Man.
Um uh anyways,
Oh,
is it
but
my
what?
turn?
Yeah, what? Something
What's
that
my
you
crazy
just,
one?
yeah, your wacky one.
I mean, my wacky one is the Zelda remasters. HDs. Uh no, I think
See, this
I
is the thing
don't.
with the Zelda one, with Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. Before, I'm sorry, I'll let you speak, Corey. I feel like it's going to be those games get digitally dropped the day they show the show, and then at the end of July or August, we get the physical. The same way they did
Sure,
Pikmin 1 and 2 and Metroid.
sure. And they're gonna sell them for $60 a piece, and they're not gonna
And
be a collection. I
and
know
Corey
everybody's hoping for a collection, but
and
they're not.
Corey
It's not gonna be a collection.
and Corey, would our pre-orders be in for the physicals for those games?
Dude, I own 3 copies of Twilight Princess for 3 separate consoles. You don't think I'm already thinking about pre-ordering it a 4th time?
I just want to make sure because you already know by the time we do the direct recap, I'll be like, Corey, my pre-order is already in for both games.
I have 4 strategy guides for Twilight Princess, okay? I have the Wii strategy guide. I have the GameCube strategy guide. I have the Wii Collector's Edition strategy guide that is like this nasty brown color. Because remember when they did all those like fancy leather bound covers
Yes.
and they just like if you unwrapped them, they just like disintegrated in 30 minutes.
Yep.
That's why they all just sit on the shelf over here. And then I have the Wii U Collector's Edition guide, which is the black bound leather cover, which also
Nice.
disintegrated in like 5 seconds from
Uh,
opening it. So,
yeah, true.
man, those like they look so nice, but man, if you open them, I feel so bad for everybody who opened them, including me. Uh,
Hmm.
so dude, you don't. Of course, I'm gonna. Dude, the Twilight Princess disc is still on my Wii U right now. Um, But I mean, yeah, I would do anything for those. I think the wild and crazy one would be ports of the 3DS versions of Ocarina and Majora's Mask would be
Yeah.
the crazy one,
Yeah.
which I don't think
Not out the
I
realm of
don't think
possibility.
yeah, I don't think that's yeah, because those are like even though they're playable on NSO, like clearly the 3DS versions are the better versions
I
just
wonder what
in terms of
I wonder what
what?
Grezzo be doing. Well, no. Because Gressel got
Oh,
something else Gressel got something else under their belt that they not talking about, that they like really shut up about. So we
yeah,
may
Zelda.
see something. Dude, we may
Uh
see something. Just
I mean, Grezzo,
now
I would actually really like to see Xenoblade Chronicles X come over also,
that
um,
yes.
because that way you have the entire series ready to go on one platform and would be available on platforms moving forward. And I think that's where Nintendo actually has some sort of weird advantage compared to the other consoles at this point
Hmm.
because even though like they've been they've been amazing at making people rebuy their games every generation. Uh, I think in terms of like you look at the DS, the 3DS, the Wii, and the Wii U specifically, and you know the GameCube to an extent, but we've already gotten so many GameCube games on the Switch that like I'd be interested to see how many more they actually bring over. But there are so many games that could just you alter you alter the control schemes a little bit.
Hmm.
You move around the dual screen effects of certain games. You kind of figure out how that works on a single screen. You give it a new coat of paint. You add some quality of life things to it. I mean, just think of the DS and 3DS libraries alone. How many HD remasters they can make from those
Oh, a
and
ton.
sell them for $50 and $60 a pop. I mean, you're seeing it now with Luigi's Mansion 2, right? That
Yeah.
was a DS game.
Yeah.
What was the other DS game that they ported over at some point? The that one the Professor Layton game that has the daughter in it was a 3DS and a cell phone game. So
Yeah. Uh,
I mean,
yeah,
they, I mean they're doing it already. Um, Sushi Strikers also was a 3DS game. Remember
yeah.
Sushi
Sushi.
Striker at the
That one was
launch?
a yeah. Was that a simultaneously release? I think they did Switch
Yeah, it was.
and 3DS at the same time.
They did. It was at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, because I got the
Um,
Switch version.
yeah, even though the 3DS version is better because of the second
Because
screen.
yeah.
But um but I mean like the Mario and Luigi games, A Link Between Worlds, Samus Returns,
Oh.
you know, uh all of the Professor Layton games, all of the Fire Emblem games, all of the um I mean even smaller experiences like Super Mario 3D Land or Star
Mm-hmm.
Fox Command or uh there's Metro Metroid Prime Hunters if you want to figure out how to do that. Like, I mean, I just named 15 games right there that they could port over and sell for 50, 40, 50, $60 a pop, right?
Yeah, because
Um,
Metroid Prime Remaster was what 40.
yeah. And that was them being very generous because
And shoot,
that
and
was
what?
way more, dude. That was way more than a remaster. I'm sorry,
Oh heck
That was like
yeah, dude.
Iron Galaxy did
Dude,
amazing work on that
when
game.
when Nintendo said we are so sorry that we don't have enough physical, we are trying to get out more, and they got out more and sold, and
Yeah.
literally sold what close to 1 million copies. I'm like, this is insane. That's why I
Um,
say Iron Galaxy is making coin.
but like you have all you well, I guess the Ace Attorney games are already there, but that's another case of like I mean, I know those are Capcom, but those are already on Switch from a dual screen to single screen.
And we
The World
still
Ends With You, what The World Ends With You was a dual screen
screen,
game that
yeah.
ended up on a single screen. Monster Hunter Stories 2 is coming out, which was a dual screen 3DS game
That's
now
another
coming.
stories
Like
one.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Monster Hunter Stories 2. Like there are so many games that were like that, right? And so
Which my ranking one was like the Pushmo series coming to
mhm,
Switch. Like,
yeah, I mean, uh, and then you look at the Wii. There's so much to pull in from there, and we saw that they can totally do motion controls with
mm-hmm.
like with normal controls with Skyward Sword, right? Or uh, even Mario Galaxy, right? On the 3D All Stars collection, there like you could pull over. I mean, if you're just looking at Nintendo first party stuff, I already mentioned Donkey Kong. Uh, you could there's Fire Emblem game over there. There's Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 separate, Galaxy 2, Metroid Other M, which I actually think would probably be better with regular controls than with the control scheme they had, right? Like that
Mm.
was um what else? I mean Mario Kart kind of already exists within Mario Kart 8. Some of these games aren't you don't need to, but like Kirby's Epic Yarn, right, would be an awesome on a HD screen.
What was
Um,
that platinum game that was in black and white on Wii?
Mad World,
Mad World.
yeah, that would be interesting. Um, and even if you're looking at um, Wii U, also, which
Shoot,
I know most of those have come over, but like you look, there's still a library there too of like,
Paper Mario
so
Color Splash I want. Xenoblade Chronicles X I want. Like those two I definitely want for on Wii U.
well, let's
For
see,
Wii U.
it would be Xenoblade, the Wii U games, right? Like in terms of Nintendo first party, uh, and a revamped version of Nintendo Land. Um, you could do Xenoblade Chronicles X, the two Zelda games, Star Fox Zero, which was actually rumored with normal controls for a while, but also
Uh-huh.
that Star Fox Grand Prix game, which that might be the game we see, the weird, strange game that we see is Star Fox Grand Prix.
Yeah, that would be
Remember that
interesting.
rumored game?
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I didn't ever followed up with that rumor after, but everything on that sheet has already remember that leaked sheet that came out
Uh-huh.
and we talked about that year? Everything on that came out except for that. Everything has come out since then. except for that.
Insane.
And there was a rumored Star Fox game in development that Retro was working on that they shelved to do Metroid Prime. So I don't know. I'm just looking at my shelf over there. I mean, we're getting Epic Mickey, right? I mean, you can do the second
Oh, I
one.
cannot wait. I do have Epic Mickey the Power 2 on Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just like, man, that Epic Mickey art ish remaster is gonna be so good. I can't wait to get that one.
Yeah. So I mean, there are hundreds of games Nintendo could pull from on those 4 consoles alone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, first party stuff alone, you could probably make a list of 50 games easy that Nintendo could be like, oh yeah, let's move that over at some point. Let's
And
move this
and
over. Let's
literally and literally Nintendo, like with the budget price of $40 or $50. Like if they want to do 60, that's fine. And
and
that's a
that
game
would
to game basis.
and you know what that would do too is that would satiate the audience that you know I the one complaint about the Switch I've heard software wise, there's a lot of complaints, right? Online stuff, whatever. In terms of gaming, like actually playing video games, the one thing I've heard people say consistently is Nintendo has gotten away from proper handheld gaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they've focused all of their efforts on things like, console gaming on the go, which I would argue there are plenty of games on the Switch that are handheld games, right? Like Link's Awakening remake is a handheld game in my
Yeah.
opinion. The 2D Mario games are perfect handheld games. I mean the Ninja Turtles game that came out was really a handheld experience in my
The
opinion.
mobile game, yeah.
Yeah, the Pokemon games, I think probably could go either way. Any of the JRPGs that came out, I don't know, Bravely Default 2 seems like a pretty handheld game. Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, Triangle Strategy, like, and I know those are Square games, but like seems pretty the Fire Emblem Engage is a straight up just the 3D version of the classic Fire Emblem games. That's
Yep.
pretty handheld gamey. So I don't know. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is pretty clearly a handheld game in my opinion. Metroid Dread, a 2D Metroid game, is pretty handheld in my opinion. So I don't really know what people are kind of complaining about. I think it's just people complaining for the sake of complaining. But there's plenty of things on the Switch that I mean, I still point to Link's Awakening and maybe Mario Wonder as like these are handheld Nintendo games
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
people maybe miss on from the 3DS and DS games, but still, man, Link's Awakening is such a masterpiece. I need to finish that game. I'm
So
on the
good.
I'm on the last dungeon.
Oh, Decory, you gotta
And I
finish
just
it.
stopped playing. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna. I know. Listen, once I get through this Destiny Gauntlet the next couple weeks, I'm gonna really sit down and buckle down and play some games. So
Yes.
I just have to get through the Destiny Gauntlet here because um, it's
Yeah.
the final shape, right? So yeah.
Well,
Uh,
should we get into Pack
is
Watch?
it? Yeah, Pack Watch. Ed, there are 2 games coming out this week for the Nintendo Switch. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Star Wars Hunters, that free to play multiplayer game, is finally coming out. It was announced in 2021, and it's been on the coming soon list for Nintendo Switch for 2.5 years. It's finally coming out on June 4th, which I watched a trailer of it. I'm like, this this took that long from announcement to. I don't get it. Anyways, team up and prepare for battle. Star Wars Hunters is a team-based arena shooter game where two teams go head-to-head in an exciting online multiplayer game. Fight against opponents on adventurous battlefields that evoke iconic Star Wars locales such as Hoth, Endor, and the second Death Star. Not the first Death Star, the second one. Oh,
brother.
and then the second game coming out, which looks really dumb, but my kids
This
are into
is
the
so
Smurfs.
bottom of the
And
barrel.
my daughter was like really into this trailer. Smurfs Village Party. In adventure mode, dive into a thrilling journey filled with quests, meet over 100 iconic Smurfs, and explore 10 different regions, from the Smurf Village to Gargamel's territory. There's no other thing. So those are the games you can look forward to on your Nintendo Switch this week. Maybe. Look, guess what, guys? Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door came out last week.
yes.
Go play that. Yeah. What? Wait, what? What happened here? Who's? Oh.
Should we get into question block?
Yeah. Sorry, I was opening Discord and I got mentioned, and it's very rare that I get mentioned because I don't want to talk to people. I do want to talk to you. Just just text me or something. I have all my notifications turned off because I have so many. Question block. Yeah, you can join our Discord and look for the question thread. Just an FYI to everybody, I'm going to try to adjust the podcasts channel or category, I guess, in Discord to kind of funnel because we get so many questions for all the shows now again that like I don't want to mix up the Pow Block questions with like, I don't know, say the After Dark questions, and not
Read
that
that question
I
on.
couldn't tell which ones are for which, but like, sometimes we ask for questions because Pow Block's recording schedule is so all over the place that like, if we happen to record on a Thursday and I ask for questions for all three shows on a Tuesday, right? Which maybe isn't smart on my end anyway, but like, I don't want people to try to guess which show they're asking a question for. So I'm going to try to organize that better. But speaking of questions, we have two. Well, we really only have one here. Lasby writes and he says, "I want to hear everyone's take about Stephanie's banter on the Zelda Lego set." I don't know if I read it. I'm going to be honest. I have been extremely busy this week. I usually try to read most of the banters just because especially now because we're prepping for a minor revamp of the Boss Rush podcast to include banters as topics in the show, which we've done it before, but we're going to make it like a major part of the show now. And so I try to read them to try to get a feel for like how the conversations are going to go. But I have not read Stephanie's yet.
I haven't read it. I will admit that.
Stephanie, by the time you listen to this, I will read it. I promise.
Same.
All
I know was that it's too
it looks like
expensive at $299.99. That's it.
It seems to be about the price of the product. So I mean we kind of touched on that. Sorry, I'm reading it real quick here. It's not super long. It's about the price of the product, and she kind of breaks down like the average price per piece in the Lego sets, and brickbucks.net is a kind of like a calculator price of Lego pieces, which it seems that each, like if you broke it down to price per piece, The
Mhm.
Deku Tree set is approximately 12 cents per piece. Uh,
Ah,
so yeah, I mean, I know it's the it's just the shock value of the high price point, right? Where like, you know, you look at Game Pass, for example, and I know it's not the same thing, right? But like, you look at Game Pass, for example, or I'll use PlayStation Plus is actually a better example because even Game Pass's pricing structure is all messed up right now because nobody
yeah.
knows what they're paying for. Um, Gosh, it's so PlayStation, right? PlayStation Plus, $60 a year, right? $60 a year,
Yes. Yep.
$70 a year, seventy
Yeah,
dollars a
they
year.
went up $10.
The
Yeah.
the extra or the essential tier $70, right? The extra tier is like 145 or something to that extent a year. And then the premium is I think it's up to $189 a year now, right? So uh you just look at that price and you're like, man, that is a lot of money to pay at one time, right? But
Yes.
like you pay it once and you don't have to worry about it. Well, when you break it down, the that would be about, if you pay for essential tier for PlayStation Plus, that's like I don't know what $6 $7, $6 five
Five.
something, five
Yeah, like
forty
five. I
something
think
per
550.
yeah per month, right?
Mhm.
But your mind doesn't break it down like that. It's just like, oh, I'm going to pay $70 a year, but you know for a month it's $10 if you pay month to month. And to a lot of people, they would it like that's how they get more money out of you, right? Is like, oh, well, it costs this much for a year, but people who don't want to pay that much up front, they're like, well, I'll just pay month to month, and then it's you know 10
Is that
bucks,
one
so they're getting an extra $50 out of you, which at that point you might as well just pay for the extra tier because it's $10 more than what you're going to pay the rest of the year or for a
right?
whole year, right? So um when you
And
break
you
it
don't
down
get
like
the
that,
same and you don't get the same benefits like you just paid for the seventy
right,
dollar one.
right. Uh, so that's breaking it down like this really kind of shows that yes, Lego is a premium product. I would say Nintendo is definitely a premium product.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so we kind of joked and said that the Lego that this product has Lego and Nintendo tax written all over it. Uh, but at the end of the day, like this is a product for Lego fans and Nintendo fans,
Yep.
and you're gonna pay the premium. And I mean,
And
it's the
y'all
same thing
wanted
with
and people wanted Zelda to be with Legos. So
yeah, and like there's definitely cheaper Nintendo sets, right? But like the Animal Crossing set, the Mario sets are cheaper unless you get what Bowser's Castle. I think is one of the sets, or is it Peach's Castle? I think it's Bowser's Castle, right?
Bowser's.
Or is it? Yeah. Uh, so like there's a premium product there, but I don't know. Legos are always expensive. Look at the Star Wars Legos. That Millennium Falcon, there's like a huge Millennium Falcon that's like $800, right? Or $1,000. Or, you buy the little TIE fighters that are like $100 a piece, or the X Wing that's like $120 a piece. And it's like, okay, these are just when you pay for a licensed product, it's going to be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
When you add Legos to it, it's going to be even more expensive. And
Mm-hmm.
so, what would you rather build? Would you rather build, the Deku Tree from Zelda, or would you rather build generic Castle A over here? It's just
The one with the bass price.
yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like I don't think the pricing is a big deal for this. I kind of expected it. I actually thought originally it was going to be around 200. I don't know how large it is either, right? That's another thing, is like how big is it, like physically, once it's
Yeah.
built. Um, and I'm sure it's really tall, right? I mean, I think it's probably tall. It's a tree, but yeah, I don't know. It seems okay to me. So that's my take on it.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be
Um,
like a 149.99, but it's not. So yeah.
let's see. His second question, uh should Nintendo do more with packs? Well, if you talk to a lot of the developers that were at PAX this year, Nintendo was supposed to be there in a
Hmm.
major way with the Switch 2 and games for that. So I would say, depending on when the next console comes out, I think
Yeah.
Nintendo's going to have a huge presence at PAX next year.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, Nintendo picks it, and I think once they get like they're getting ready to talk about their new product, they want to do that on their own time, and do it in
mhm,
their own way. So I think you will see a Nintendo back at PAX, but you probably won't see them for about 2 years from now, probably. Like
mhm,
once their successor gets rolling, they'll probably come back and start showing you new games, games that you miss, or games that you're seeing for the first time. I think they'll have a big setup that way. So yeah.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think Nintendo will be there. They were not this last time, but the two times before, Nintendo had a huge presence at PAX. So, I mean,
Yes.
that's where I played Dead Cells for the first time. Like, they revealed Dead Cells in the Nintendo booth that year. Um, Wolfenstein was there playable on Switch, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, some of those videos from that PAX on the Nerds Gone Rogue YouTube page are some of the highest viewed videos I ever did were from that PAX on the Nintendo booth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, it was Dead Cells, it was Wolfenstein, it was, what was the other big game there that year? Oh, Ed, help me! I don't
Uh,
remember what the other big game was that year, but it was awesome. Like, Wolfenstein was awesome. I still think the Switch version of Wolfenstein is awesome.
Wolfenstein 2. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I really wish they would have put the first game on there.
Shoot, I
And I
just
know
like
it's like,
couple of months ago, I just ran through Wolfenstein 2 on Xbox. I'm like, yeah, game is still good.
yeah, I think I'm gonna play those games again. I would really like to play those again. Doom, not so much. Like, I like Doom. It's fine. I mean, it's a great game, but like,
Hmm.
I would rather play Wolfenstein, I think.
I think
Gosh,
Doom.
Wolfenstein, the opening of Wolfenstein 2 is so violent.
Yeah, I think Doom is better than Doom Eternal because I that's me. But like Wolfenstein 2 is just yeah, the intro is violent, but man, every all those levels feel just fun. Well, maybe not the not maybe not one particular level, but um once you get the flow of that game and you know what to do, it becomes super fun.
Yeah. Um yeah, I was kind of disappointed when Youngblood came out, and not in the game. I mean, the game's okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. Arcane Austin, for people who don't know, made that game. Uh,
R.I.P.
I mean, it was like a collaboration between Machine Games and Arcane. Uh, because they were trying to add some. I think what they were trying to add some Dishonored elements to it, mixed with some of the loot system that they were doing for Redfall in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were like using Youngblood as like a test bed for, would this work or not, or what do we need to fix or adjust based on what we're planning on doing with Redfall.
Yes.
Um, and it just didn't pan out. I love the idea though of like the daughters in the 80s, like, you know, going after this rogue Nazi organization. I love the idea. It just didn't. It's not bad. It's just not amazing. Like two, right? So,
Mhm.
and obvious, like, man, I would love to see Wolfenstein 3 get announced at the Xbox showcase. I know
Shit, I would love to
Machine
see
Games is doing
Armory
Indiana
2.
Jones.
I would love to see the Armory 2 collection come get announced.
That's not where that I expected a left turn from you, but that was not the left turn I expected. No, I know that Machine Games is working on Indiana Jones, and I
Yeah.
also know that they are probably working on Quake now that Doom, the Dark Ages, seems to be the Doom game coming from id, because
Nick.
I thought id was making the Quake game, but then obviously Doom, the Dark Ages seems to have leaked. Plus, like, Machine Games has been really updating the old Quake games, the
Uh-huh.
remasters. And so it makes sense that Machine Games would be working on Quake, but like,
Nick is so ready for a new
where's
um
Wolfenstein 3, man? Pete
that's
Hines
probably
said to expect the third one like 3 years ago.
yeah, that's probably coming
uh
soon. But Quake, yeah, Nick
Man,
from Beyond WASD, he was talking about it. He's just like, it's time for a new Quake game. I was just
I
like,
mean, it's
yeah,
coming. Yeah,
yes,
Quake's definitely coming, especially because like Microsoft wants those multiplayer games on Game Pass very clearly, right? I mean, Quake will be some arena shooter with huge multiplayer.
yeah.
Uh, I mean, Call of Duty is going to be there. Overwatch is already out. Like, that's something people, I think, don't give Microsoft enough credit for. Is like, they are masters of putting out smaller experiences
Mm-hmm.
and games as a service, right?
Yes.
the The problem is they just can't get single player experiences or like games with campaigns in them out. Like, I mean, that's their problem. They're fine. I mean, especially now that they have Activision and Blizzard and Bethesda now, right? I mean, like, let's see, their games as a service, they have Sea of Thieves, they have Halo Infinite, they have Forza Motorsport, Overwatch, um, they have
Forza
Elder Scrolls
Horizon.
Online. I just said Forza, man. Pay
You said
attention.
Motorsport. You didn't say
I said
Horizon.
Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport.
Oh, I heard Motorsport.
I'm gonna slap you.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't. I don't know. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm exhausted. They have Call of Duty. They
Mm-hmm.
have
Yeah.
Fallout 76 seems to be in a great place. They have Minecraft.
Halo Infinite
They
got
have. I
Halo
just said
Infinite.
Halo Infinite. It was the second game I said.
No, I'm talking about the DLC, the new one that's coming out.
I mean, it's just the new season, but that's what a game as a service is. And
Yeah.
I'm adding this to the very long list of reasons why I want to punch you in the face right now.
Until something shows
Fist
up,
closed.
until something shows up at the
Uh,
house.
it better be one of the collector's editions I'm missing.
And then what? Does it reduce the
and then
list?
and then a second one right behind it. um, Gosh, now I lost. Oh, games as a service. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I I know everybody wants single player games, but like at the end of the day, these companies want to make money, and it just seems like, honestly, it seems like Nintendo is really the ones that are making the experiences people want consistently, right? I mean, I know Sony has had, or I know PlayStation has had a lot of great single player exclusives, but not from first party. I mean, Rise of the Ronin is not first party, is not Sony internal. Stellar Blade's not Sony internal. Helldivers is not Sony internal. Final Fantasy VII's not Sony internal. What was the last exclusive they put out? Spider-Man? Was that is
Spider
that the
Man.
last exclusive they put out
Spider
internally?
Man 2 was the last one.
And then Returnal,
Ghost of
Dark
Tsushima.
Soul or Demon
Well,
Souls
Ghost of
Remastered.
Tsushima, like the PC stuff, I don't count actually.
No, I don't. No, I don't count that either. God of War, Ragnarok, I guess. Like, I'm trying to think of PS5 games though. I know people
Like
want to yell at me and say God of War Ragnarok was on PS5, but that's a PS4 game. Everybody. So is Horizon Forbidden
Horizon.
West. By the way,
Yeah, I would say
amazing.
Spider Man
Gotta say
3
though,
or Spider Man 2.
Hor- Horizon Forbidden West is the best looking PS4 game I've ever seen, and it looks even better on PS5. I mean, I know it was like developed for both, but like the
I,
Decima engine is like the closest. Like, oh my gosh, Horizon is like, you want
it's
to say Hellblade is the best looking game you've ever seen. Horizon might be 1B, right? I mean,
it,
Horizon
it's
2.
it's crazy what Guerrilla Games could do with that engine, but it's even crazier what Kojima could do with that engine.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Death Stranding is amazing looking too. Um, those are two games. That's a game I still need to play. Actually, is Death Stranding. I bought the director's cut when it was on sale
Yeah,
like a year ago, and I just never played it.
I got mine's from Costco. I think like for $20, like really cheap.
Yeah, I the first thing I did on PlayStation was buy buy some of the games that were on sale, the director's cuts, and then I turned around and downloaded Kingdom Hearts. So you tell me what happened, what went wrong there. Man,
Uh,
what was the question? I don't
Something.
even remember. Sorry, David.
Sorry, David. Oh, should Nintendo do
Should
more at
Nintendo do
PAX?
more packs? Right, and that's how we got on the
Think it
Wolfenstein.
could,
Okay,
yeah. What's the
shoot.
next question though? Do you need more
That's
questions?
it. That's all we got. It looks like on Discord.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't
Well,
put out a thing for Twitter today because we usually record on Sundays, and I was kind of thrown off a little bit. So,
yeah, I put
um,
one out for us, but I didn't get no
did you
hits.
get anything? No,
No.
fail.
But I put question. I asked.
You failed.
I asked, and I'm gonna keep asking till we get questions. So, any final thoughts, Corey? Or should we just wrap it up?
I mean, summer games, not E3 is soon. I mean, it
uh,
starts next weekend, right? So
well, I said Summer Direct started last week with Marvelous and the State of Play, and then this week
the state of play, really, it started with that. You're gonna
I'm
allow that
just
to
gonna
stick.
you at this point in time they started off, and I'm just gonna be like, you know what, the Summer Direct has started. Everybody started doing their predictions for the show, regardless of how that show turned out. The summer direct has started. We got Microsoft next, and then Nintendo later, and all the first party stuff will be out. I mean, we got Summer Game Fest, Wholesome Games, PC Gaming Show. Um, I think Ubisoft Forward is doing something. I don't know if they announced
Yeah,
anything.
it's happening after the Xbox showcase.
Okay, so I mean, the Call of Duty Direct, like I Summer Direct has started. So, and then I think there's probably still going to be some more directs and Devolver Digital and stuff like that. So, yeah,
Hmm. Man, dude,
we're
this
good.
Resident Evil thing is like really messing with my mind.
It looks so bad though.
The cover looks awful.
I know.
It looks like some kind of weird, like, I don't know, who's that even supposed to be? Is that supposed to be
Leon.
Leon? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's weird. It's very strange, and nobody is talking about it. Is the stranger part?
Well, I think I know I seen that cover like Thursday. Someone had posted it, but I thought it
Just
was like something Photoshop or something somebody made like from AI or something.
yeah, I mean that's what it looks like. Honestly, it looks really bad. I wonder if that's just a placeholder thing. I don't know.
Probably.
Anyways, Ed, help me.
Well, everybody, I really don't have no final thoughts besides everybody have a great Pride this month. Everybody enjoy the Summer Direct. Let's get out there, play some great games, celebrate. And yeah, and can't wait to see what Nintendo has for this Nintendo Direct. Um, let us know your predictions. Hit us up on at Pow Block Podcast on Twitter and on our Discord. We would definitely love to hear what you guys think they could show. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.